My name is Chuan. Ever since I can remember, every living thing I look at appears as a pig. People, animals, all pigs. So I went to see a doctor before my class job awakening ceremony. The doctor was a young woman, but to me she just looked like a pig in a white coat. She ran some tests and told me my spine is badly bent, pressing on my brain and eye nerves. That's why everything looks like a pig to me. She said surgery could fix it, but if it failed, I could be paralyzed from the neck down. Then I accidentally took her spine model, thinking it was mine. She wrote on my chart that my mental state was seriously abnormal. I took a bus back to school. Honestly, this condition doesn't really affect my daily life. Except I can't date anyone, because I'm not interested in pigs. My mom is a cook and my dad is a famous pig butcher. He invented his own set of butchering knife techniques. So I figured my awakened job would probably be something ordinary, like a life skill class. When I got to school, it was packed. My childhood friend Ling Xian ran up to me, worried I'd be late. Everyone always teases us, saying we'll get married after the ceremony. But to me, she's just a pink pig standing on two legs waving her hooves. It gives me chills. The ceremony started. One by one, students stepped onto a big altar. Most awakened boring life skill jobs. Then a guy named Lu Jinglong got a rare combat class, Shadow Blade Fighter. Everyone surrounded him, congratulating him. The principal was thrilled too. Finally, it was my turn. My 3 stats added up to 10.0, which is over 3 times the average person's 3.0. Maybe something special would happen. I stepped onto the altar, took a deep breath, and a blood-red beam of light shot straight up into the sky. Everyone stared at the red light shooting up from the altar. Nobody knew what red light meant. They only knew black was legendary, purple was epic, yellow was rare, and white was everything else. Some people thought the altar was broken. Then Principal Zhao figured it out. His hands were shaking. He shouted that it was a god-level job, the highest rank possible. The whole school went crazy. Everyone was staring at me. A god-level job had never appeared at our small-town school before. Even the principal had never seen one in his whole career. But when he read what the job actually was, his face dropped. Life skill class. God level. Pig butcher. He looked like he was about to explode. A god-level job that's just butchering pigs. It's like covering a cheap graphics card in diamonds. It's still a cheap graphics card. Everyone's excitement turned into awkward silence, then mockery. I wasn't surprised though. My dad's a pig butcher, so it made sense. I checked my stats. I had 2 talents with unlimited growth potential. Pig Bane gives me 50% extra damage against pigs and grows with every pig I kill, and God-slaying blade lets me pick a weapon as my butcher knife. Every pig killed with it gives me 0.1 free stat points. My skill, Blood Shadow Butcher, forces pigs into a 1-second fear state. These abilities are powerful, but they only work on pigs. Then I realized something. To me, every living thing in this world looks like a pig. So actually, I have unlimited targets. I walked off the altar. People mocked me, pitied me, laughed at me. Lu Jinglong and his followers were the loudest, calling my job garbage. Only Ling Xian came over and comforted me, patting my head and saying my dad would be proud. Then it was her turn. Nobody was paying attention to her because they were all still talking about me. But the moment she stepped onto the altar, a thick black light shot into the sky. Someone screamed, "A legendary level job." Someone awakened a legendary level job. Principal Zhao jumped to his feet, staring at the black light. He was terrified it would be another useless god-level job like mine. But when he read the result, his face turned red with excitement. Combat class, legendary level Snow Spirit Sword Immortal. It was Ling Xian. Snow started falling from a clear sky, and a sword sound rang out. She looked like a painting standing in that black light. The whole school went wild. Both her parents have life skill jobs, so this was a rare mutation, completely unexpected. The principal rushed over to her, promising the school would give her anything she needed. Everyone stared at her in awe. Nobody dared approach her to flatter her, though, because they all knew her life was now on a completely different level from theirs. I clapped and smiled. I was truly happy for her. But then she turned to me with a complicated look in her eyes. Chuan, I admit we had something between us before, but from now on, that's over. We're not in the same world anymore. Everyone watched, enjoying the show. The crowd thought I must be devastated, My childhood friend just dumped me the moment she awakened a legendary job. I just nodded and said, okay. They all thought I was pretending to be calm. But honestly, it's hard to feel heartbroken when the person talking to you looks like a pig. She kept going on about how I shouldn't come bother her and that she'd explain things to our parents. A pig lecturing me not to chase after her. The whole thing just felt bizarre. Then Lu Jinglong tried to impress her by offering to teach me a lesson. She ignored him, so he turned his anger on me instead. Hey, pig butcher, get over here. I didn't even hear him. I was busy thinking about where to find pigs to kill so I could start leveling up. My job levels up by killing pigs, so standing around here was a waste of time. I turned to leave. He blocked my path. Think you can just walk away? I looked up at him. Just another pig head in my eyes. But that one look made him stumble backward and fall on the ground. He looked terrified, like he'd just been stared down by a natural predator. Lu Jinglong's face turned red after falling down. He couldn't accept that a pig butcher scared him. He threw a punch at my face with full force, as a rare-level Shadow Blade fighter. Even his fist carried knife energy. Everyone thought I was finished, but I didn't dodge. I punched back. My stats are way higher than normal, and my Pig Bane talent gave me extra damage while cutting his attack power in half. Our fists collided, and I heard a crack. His hand bent at a weird angle. Broken. Impossible. You're just a pig butcher, he screamed. I told him calmly, I'm a pig butcher. Having strong hands is pretty normal, right? But you can't even beat someone you call trash. So what does that make you? He went crazy and summoned a phantom blade using his combat skill. It looked dangerous, but before he could attack, snowflakes started falling and stuck to his body, freezing him in place. It was Ling Xian. She locked him down with her sword energy. Let him go, she said coldly. Lu Jinglong backed off, but glared at me with murder in his eyes. Then Ling Xian turned to me with a proud look. She told me this was the last time she'd help me, and that I should leave town before Lu Jinglong comes for revenge. She kept talking about how we're on different levels now. I didn't respond. I just turned and walked away. She probably thought I was too crushed to speak. Actually, I just didn't feel like arguing with a pig. On the way home, an aggressive dog blocked my path, barking at me nonstop. Its owner, an old lady with a perm, stood there doing nothing. I asked her politely to pull her dog away. She yelled at me, saying I had no compassion. I didn't argue. Instead, I walked up to the dog. The moment I got close, it tucked its tail in fear. I beat it quickly, and it died. Then I got a notification. Pig Butcher Yi Chuan slaughtered a small pig. Level 0.1%. Pig Bane extra damage 1%. That confirmed my theory. Because I see every living thing as a pig, my god-level Pig Butcher talents work on all creatures, not just actual pigs. My mental illness just became the most overpowered cheat code in the world. The old lady started screaming that I killed her son and charged at me. I calmly pulled out my medical records. I'm mentally ill, I said. The old lady froze when she saw my medical records. In this world, old ladies who make scenes are tough to deal with, but a certified mentally ill person is basically untouchable. Even if I went crazy and killed her too, nothing would happen to me. She didn't dare say another word as I walked away. When I got home, Mom was cooking pork bone soup. That's the nice thing about having a pig butcher for a dad. We never run out of pork. I told my parents I awakened as a god-level pig butcher. They were both shocked. I asked Dad if I could skip school and go to the slaughterhouse with him tomorrow. He was thrilled, father and son, both pig butchers. He pulled out 2 bottles of wine to celebrate. Mom scolded him for trying to make me drink. Then they asked about Ling Xian. When I said she got a legendary combat job, the table went quiet. They both started comforting me, thinking I was heartbroken. Dad said there are plenty of other girls out there. Mom said loving someone means wanting them to be happy. Dad even poured me wine, saying alcohol cures sadness. I kept telling them I wasn't sad, but nobody believed me. Dad drank too much and passed out, so I carried him to bed. I went to my room feeling excited. Every pig I kill gives me permanent stat boosts. A few days at the slaughterhouse and my power would skyrocket. What I didn't know was that after I fell asleep, Dad opened his eyes, completely sober. There was a dark figure standing outside his window. Dad told the figure to leave us alone, that I'm just an ordinary pig butcher. The figure mocked him. The son of Ghost Cry is really just a pig butcher? Are you sure this kid is even yours? Dad's killing aura exploded, but the figure laughed it off, and said since I'm just a pig butcher, their organization wouldn't bother our family anymore. Then the shadow jumped out the window and vanished. Mom came in after. Dad told her it was over. We could finally live normal lives. She hugged him tight with relief. She never asked about his past or who those people were. She said she only needed to know that he loves her and wants to live a good life with her. That was enough. So it turns out my dad has a secret past and was once known as Ghost Cry. Some mysterious organization has been watching our family. But because I'm just a pig butcher, they've lost interest. My parents are relieved. They have no idea that their son's useless job might be the most dangerous one of all. Last night, I tried killing some mosquitoes to test my abilities, but nothing happened. It seems there's a size requirement. Tiny bugs like mosquitoes and ants don't count as pigs for my talent. So the next morning I got up early, ready to go to the slaughterhouse with Dad. Strangely, Dad, who normally wakes at dawn, slept until almost 10. I figured it was from drinking too much last night. When we arrived, the smell of blood and pig manure hit me right away. Dad's co-workers greeted him and were shocked when he proudly told them I was a god-level pig butcher. To ordinary people like them, any god-level job is incredible. Dad grabbed his black butcher knife from the rack. The blade gleamed cold, and the handle was worn smooth from years of use. The moment he gripped it, something about him completely changed, like he became a different person. He showed me how it's done. He lifted a pig with one hand, hung it on a hook, and slit its throat in one clean motion. The pig didn't even scream. He kicked a basin under it to catch the blood, then chopped off the head, gutted it, split it in half, and carved it into perfectly sorted cuts, all in just a few minutes. It was like watching art. Then it was my turn. I picked a heavy knife from the rack, and my god-slaying blade, talent activated. I lifted a pig up, but controlling it was way harder than Dad made it look. My first cut wasn't clean enough. The pig screamed so loud the whole slaughterhouse heard it, and blood splashed everywhere. I panicked and used my blood shadow butcher skill to freeze it with fear, then finished it off with 2 more cuts. Dad laughed and said my technique was about 70% right, but I missed the key point. He showed me the exact spot on the neck. One precise cut there ends it instantly. Under his guidance, I kept going. The system notifications kept ringing. Level up, extra damage up, free stat points gained. At first I needed my skill and multiple cuts. But as I killed more and more pigs, I got better and better. By sunset, I could kill a pig in 3 cuts or fewer. Sometimes I even matched Dad. 1 clean throat cut, no screaming, no struggling. Dad was impressed. He said my learning speed was beyond his expectations, especially since I showed no discomfort around the blood and guts on my very first day. By the end of the day, I had killed 49 pigs. My pig bane extra damage had reached 100%, and my total stats went from 10.0 to 14.9. My arms were so tired I could barely lift them, but I honestly didn't want to stop. For some reason, killing pigs felt relaxing and satisfying to me, like I could never get tired of it. 5 days passed. All I did was wake up, kill pigs, go home, repeat. I soaked up every bit of butchering knowledge from my dad like a sponge. In 5 days I killed 250 pigs. My stats completely transformed. All 3 attributes hit 15, my total reached 45 points. My pig bane extra damage climbed to 301%. I was confident that even combat class fighters couldn't beat me now. But I realized the slaughterhouse was too slow. I had to keep the pigs intact, separate the meat and bones. Too much extra work. If I killed other creatures instead, I just had to kill them. No butchering, no cleanup. I told Dad I needed a day off. The next morning, I packed my butcher knife and some food and headed out of the city. In this world, countless races and monsters roamed the wilderness. Humanity formed a federation divided into 9 districts. Our city, Qingcheng, sits on the edge of the 5th district. Outside the city walls, it's dangerous. Many races eat humans. At the gate, a worker registered me and gave me a survival guide. He warned me that as a life skill class, I should stay within 1 kilometer of the city or I'd be in danger. I nodded politely and walked out. Outside was nothing like the city. Everything was broken and barren. Weeds, sand, and bleached bones scattered along the road. I walked past the 1 kilometer safe zone without stopping. As expected, there was nothing dangerous nearby since the area had already been cleared. As I pushed deeper into the wilderness, everything got quieter. Just wind. Then I felt it. Something was watching me. I gripped my butcher knife inside my backpack. A green creature about 1 meter tall jumped out of the bushes, swinging a spiked iron club at me. A goblin. But instead of dealing with that one, I activated Blood Shadow Butcher to freeze it with fear, then spun around and chopped the goblin sneaking up behind me with a dagger, split it clean in half. The system notified me. Killing a special pig gave me 5% level progress instead of the usual 1%. Stronger targets meant faster growth. The first goblin ran. I didn't chase it. I followed it instead, because goblins live in tribes. Follow one, and you find the whole group. It led me straight to a dark cave. I walked right in. Arrows flew at me from the darkness, but my agility and reflexes were too high. I dodged them all and sliced the rest out of the air with my knife. Deep in the cave, dozens of glowing red eyes stared at me from the shadows. Low growls filled the air. This was their nest. I looked at all those goblins and smiled. So many pigs. Facing a cave full of goblins, I wasn't scared at all. I charged in with my butcher knife. Goblins are at the bottom of the food chain. Unless they have a goblin priest or capture females from other races to breed, they're weak. The only reason they haven't gone extinct is because they reproduce incredibly fast. I started killing. With 300% extra damage from Pig Bane and the butchering techniques Dad taught me, I was cutting through goblins at an unbelievable speed. Almost every swing killed one. They managed to wound me in several places, even stabbed a hole in my thigh. Their attacks were sneaky and dirty. But thanks to my talent having all incoming damage from pigs, nothing was life-threatening. I got stronger with every kill. After 1 hour, 73 goblins lay dead on the ground. That's more than I could do in a full day at the slaughterhouse. Deeper in the cave, I found their breeding area. Females from different races were strung up on wooden frames. Naked, covered in wounds, their eyes empty. Their minds were completely destroyed. I killed them all. It was a mercy. Some of them actually smiled as my blade came down. At the very end, I found one woman who still had her clothes on and seemed unharmed. I slapped her awake. She screamed so loud my ears hurt, so I stuffed her sock in her mouth to shut her up. Once she calmed down and realized I was human, she grabbed me and started crying. Her name was Xian. She kept asking questions. I ignored most of them. Behind a hollow stone wall at the back of the cave, I found goblin babies huddled together looking pitiful. "You're going to kill the babies too?" Nanan asked. "Would you rather I kill you instead?" I said. She went quiet after that. This trip was incredibly productive. Nearly 100 goblins pushed me from 3rd rank apprentice all the way to 6th rank. My total stats jumped to 70 points. 6 days, from 0 to 6th rank apprentice with nothing but a butcher knife and no resources. Nobody in the world has ever leveled this fast. The only downside was my knife was getting dull from clashing with goblin weapons. It's just an ordinary butcher knife after all. I packed up to go find more targets, but Nanan kept following me. I pointed toward the city gate and told her to leave. She said she was too scared to go alone. I pulled out my knife impatiently, and her face went white. "Wait, don't kill me. I'm Xia Beihai's daughter, Xia Beihai." That name hit me hard. The Xia family is one of the 4 top powers in Qingqing. Her father is a 9th rank master, just 1 step from grandmaster level. Nanan begged me to help her, saying she'd give me any reward I wanted. That was perfect timing. I needed a better butcher knife since mine was getting dull, and my parents are just ordinary people who can't help with something like that. The Xia family is rich enough to hire the best weaponsmith in the city. I immediately put on a friendly smile and told her I'd been joking about the knife earlier, that I was actually a gentleman who'd never hurt a pretty girl. She looked a little creeped out, but she needed my help. Her request was simple: find a blood moon flower for her mom's birthday, then escort her safely back to the city. According to my survival guide, blood moon flowers are extremely rare and always guarded by a blood moon giant python. A creature as strong as a 9th rank apprentice. The flower's only use is slowing down aging, so almost nobody bothers looking for one. I asked her how she planned to fight a giant python when she couldn't even handle goblins. She got defensive, saying her dad gave her protective items strong enough to beat an entry-level fighter, but the goblins ambushed her before she could use them. I rolled my eyes. It was like sending 3 legendary warriors to fight a boss. only to get captured by a random nobody. On the way, I agreed to help in exchange for her getting me a new knife forged by the best smith in Chingching. She happily accepted. We both thought we got the better deal. Then I saw what was in her backpack. It was stuffed with healing pills. First-grade pills worth tens of thousands each, and even a few second-grade ones worth over 100,000. Meanwhile, my bag had a butcher knife, some water, and stale bread. Not even a bandage. If I didn't know who her father was, I might have robbed her myself. I took a healing pill from her pack. My wounds closed up in under 10 minutes. When she came back from washing her face, she turned out to be quite pretty, but to me she just looked like a piece of pork. She noticed the way I looked at her and seemed genuinely confused about whether she was ugly. We followed her map and soon came across a silver-horned rhino grazing peacefully. Nanan told me it was a herbivore, not aggressive, and we should go around it. She said its attack and defense were comparable to a 7th-rank apprentice. I walked straight toward it with my knife. It eats grass today, it'll eat people tomorrow. Can't let it live, she panicked and tried to stop me. But before she finished talking, I swung once. A red line appeared across the rhino's neck, and the massive beast crashed to the ground. Nanan was stunned when I one-shot the silver-horned rhino. She couldn't believe it. Those things are famous for their armor-like defense. I carved off its horn since it's valuable crafting material, stuffed it in my bag, and told her to keep moving. After that, she watched me kill everything in sight. Any beast we came across got 1 slash, 2 at most. I always had a reason. This one looks like it has heat stroke. That one's fur is too long. This one looks sick. To me, it was no different from butchering pigs back at the slaughterhouse. She finally asked what my real job was. I told her I'm a pig butcher. She refused to believe it. She said anyone who could kill creatures 2 ranks above them had to be at least an epic-level combat class. She's actually an epic-level combat fighter herself, but even she wasn't confident she could dodge my attacks. I shrugged and didn't explain further. By the time we got close to the python's location, I had reached 7th-rank apprentice. My stats hit 80, and my pig bane bonus damage was at 450%. Then I sensed people ahead, at least 20, and one of them felt very strong. I wanted to wait for them to pass, but the strong one detected us and shouted for us to come out. It turned out to be Principal Zhao from my school. Behind him were Ling Xian, Lu Jinglong, and about a dozen students with combat jobs. He brought them out for wilderness training. The moment I appeared, everyone assumed I was there to stalk Ling Xian. A chubby girl behind her sneered that I must have followed them like a stalker because I couldn't let go. Everyone immediately agreed. Why else would a life-skill pig butcher be this deep in the wilderness? They all mocked me, called me a clown, a toad chasing a swan, a creep who tracks his ex-girlfriend. They said I was lucky I hadn't been eaten by a beast already. Ling Xian looked at me with annoyance and said, Chuan, I already made myself clear. Why are you still chasing me? We're from 2 different worlds. Looking at their mocking faces, I touched my butcher knife in my bag. But with Principal Zhao standing right there, I decided to leave it alone. I don't like arguing with pigs. I'd rather just kill them later when I get the chance. My silence made them think I was scared. Lu Jinglong stepped forward with a real spirit weapon, a yellow-rank sword that glowed with cold light. Everyone was impressed. They said it could let a 4th-rank fighter punch above his weight. Ling Xin shook her head and said she'd warned me to leave town, and this time she wouldn't save me. She figured letting Lu Jinglong beat me up would help me face reality, but I wasn't looking at Lu Jinglong's face. I was staring at his sword. How much is a yellow-rank spirit weapon worth? I asked Nanan. A few 100,000, but that one's average quality, she said. Good enough. That made Lu Jinglong furious. He charged at me and swung. His blade cut my butcher knife clean in half. Spirit weapons are on a completely different level from ordinary steel. He laughed, saying I couldn't even kill pigs anymore. I tossed the broken knife aside. I don't need a weapon for you. I moved so fast he couldn't react. One punch to his chest. I heard his ribs crack. He flew backward like a rag doll. His chest caved in at a sickening angle. Everyone froze. A pig butcher just destroyed a rare-level combat fighter with 1 punch? Principal Zhao looked at me with surprise. You're already 7th-rank apprentice? Even Ling Xian was shocked. She'd been given every resource by the school and was only 6th rank. I picked up Lu Jinglong's spirit sword, Qingfeng. It wasn't a butcher knife, but it was better than my broken one. Then Principal Zhao explained to everyone why I leveled so fast. Life skill classes level up just by doing their job. I only need to kill pigs. But he said once I reach higher realms, the number of pigs I'd need to kill would become astronomically large, making it nearly impossible to keep up. Meanwhile, combat classes just keep training and always progress. Everyone immediately felt better. They said I was only strong now because my rank was temporarily high, but in a few years Lu Jinglong would crush me. Someone guessed I came to the wilderness just to show off and win Ling Xian back. Ling Xian sighed and told me she'd been accepted into Tianxiong Academy, one of the top schools. A teacher was coming to pick her up in a few days. She said once again, "We're from two different worlds." Everyone gasped when Ling Xian mentioned Tianxiong Academy, the best school in the entire 5th district. Even their security guards are grandmaster level. She told me to stop being stubborn and go home to my parents. I ignored her, but Nanan couldn't take it anymore. She stepped forward and told everyone that I was with her to find a blood moon flower, not chasing Ling Xian. Those girls turned on Nanan instead, calling her blind for hanging around. Trash, like me. Nanan walked right up and slapped each of them across the face. When they tried to fight back, Nanan dropped her father's name, Xiao Beihai. Principal Zhao immediately told everyone to stop. He looked at her closely and realized she really was the Xia family's daughter. He started treating her like a VIP. Nanan demanded those girls apologize to me. Zhao made them do it. Then she pointed at Ling Xian and said she should apologize too. Zhao was stuck. He couldn't afford to offend either the Xia family or a legendary-level genius headed to Tianxiong Academy. I told Nanan to drop it. I'd rather spend my time killing more creatures than arguing with these people. Lu Jinglong screamed at me to return his Qingfeng sword. I told him he could come take it back anytime he wanted, and walked away without looking back. Nanan followed me, still furious. She couldn't understand why I didn't bother explaining myself. I told her there was no point. Even if Ling Xian knew the truth, what would I gain? Explaining to fools is a waste of energy. We entered the Blood Moon Python's territory. The air smelled like snake, wet and foul. I set the Qingfeng sword as my new butcher knife, and my god-slaying blade, talent activated on it. Nanan pulled out 2 Thunderfire Pearls, explosive balls that could seriously injure even an entry-level fighter. She said if the python showed up, she'd handle it. We pushed deeper. No python appeared, but we found something even better than what we expected. 2 red flowers, crystal clear like frozen blood, were growing intertwined together. Nanan's eyes went wide. That's not a regular blood moon flower. That's a blood crystal twin flower. The blood crystal twin flower is a mutated version of the blood moon flower. Instead of just slowing aging, it stops it completely. Only one appears out of every 100,000 blood moon flowers. Since there were 2 flowers growing together, I figured I'd take one for Nanan's mom and one for my own mom. I told Nanan to stay back with the Thunderfire Pearls ready while I went to dig up the flowers. Everything was quiet. No sign of the python. I carefully dug out the twin flower with my sword and put it in my bag. Then I smelled something foul. I didn't look back. I just threw myself forward. A massive red snake head slammed down right where I'd been standing. If I'd been a second slower, I'd have been swallowed whole. The blood moon python was covered in crystal-like red scales with angry yellow eyes. It stood 2 or 3 meters tall, close to 9th rank apprentice at the peak. I hit it with Blood Shadow Butcher to freeze it in fear, then screamed at Nanan to throw the pearls. She nailed the timing perfectly. The 2 pearls collided right in front of the python and exploded. Lightning and fire tore its scales apart. When the blast cleared, the snake was charred black and smelled like barbecue. I finished it off with 1 cut. That kill alone gave me 30% level progress. I said we should head back before my parents worried. Then Nanan's face went pale. "Look behind you." I turned around. What I thought were 2 suns on the horizon were actually 2 enormous beast eyes. A second blood moon python, twice the size of the first one, and radiating entry-level power. The twin flower meant twin snakes. Nanan had no more Thunderfire Pearls. I grabbed her hand and ran. But the python's tail swept through the trees, snapping thick trunks like twigs. It hit me and sent me flying. Even with my talent having the damage, the gap between apprentice and entry-level was enormous. We couldn't outrun it. I handed Nanan my backpack and told her to hide. "You're insane. That thing is entry-level," she shouted. I charged in anyway. My sword struck its scales and barely left a scratch, just a shallow cut with a few drops of blood. Even with my 450% bonus damage and a spirit weapon, its defense was that strong. The python attacked with its tail and mouth at the same time, cutting off my escape routes. I realized I couldn't win in a normal fight. There was only one option: go inside. I launched myself straight into its open mouth. Nanan screamed my name. The snake closed its jaws and started pushing me toward its stomach. But from inside its throat, I drove my Qing Feng sword straight out through its neck. I slashed the Qing Feng sword sideways and ripped open the python's throat from the inside. I jumped out covered in slime and digestive juices. With my spirit weapon and 450% bonus damage, being inside its body was like having free reign. Its tough scales couldn't protect it from the inside. The python's massive head crashed to the ground. That kill gave me 60% level progress and pushed me straight to 8th rank apprentice. Nanan looked stunned. A 7th rank apprentice just killed an entry-level beast. She couldn't believe it. You almost got digested and pooped out, she yelled, eyes turning red. I shrugged, then winced because every bone in my body hurt from being squeezed inside the snake. She laughed and handed me a healing pill. Then she told me to wash up because I was covered in snake spit and stomach acid. I took off my ruined shirt, and she quickly turned away, though I caught her sneaking glances. We split the twin flower, one each, and made it back to the city before sunset. At the gate, a crowd of Xia family servants was waiting frantically. Their butler, Uncle Zhao, was relieved to see Nanan safe. She introduced me as her savior. When he asked my job and I said, "Pig butcher," his friendly expression cooled immediately. He offered me a card with 200,000 on it. I refused and said I only wanted what was agreed, a spirit weapon forged by the best smith in the city. He said he'd arrange it with Master Tiexin, and I could go tomorrow. Then he warned me to stay away from Nanan. He'd noticed the way she looked at me and wanted to kill any romance before it started. I found it funny. Who would have romantic feelings towards someone who looks like a pig to them? But I couldn't exactly explain that, so I just agreed. What I didn't know was that back in the wilderness, a woman appeared next to the dead pythons. She wasn't human. She had horns, pointed ears, and slit pupils. The pythons were her pets, and the twin flower was something she'd been cultivating. She pulled out the dead snake's eye and saw my face reflected in it. "You killed my beasts and stole my plant. You human have some nerve." Her body erupted with blood-red light, so powerful it turned the moon crimson. Every beast in the wilderness dropped to the ground, trembling in fear. When I got home, I gave Mom the blood crystal twin flower. I told her I found it outside the city after 2 snakes killed each other. No way I was telling her the truth. She scolded me for going outside the walls, but was clearly touched that I thought of her. The next morning, I went to find Master Tiexin, the most famous weaponsmith in Qingqing. His workshop was behind a heavy metal door, full of sweating men hammering away at forges. The old master himself was white-haired but built like a rock, without a single wrinkle. He got straight to business and asked what I wanted. I told him I wanted a butcher knife. He froze mid-sip of tea and stared at me. I explained I was a god-level pig butcher. He'd heard about me. He laughed and said he'd never forged a butcher knife in his entire career. I told him my only requirement was that it had to be tough enough to cut through a yellow-rank spirit weapon without taking any damage itself. He looked confused and asked what kind of pig I was planning to kill. I didn't answer. He didn't push it and told me to come back in 10 days. After that, I headed to the city's trading center to sell the beast materials I'd collected in the wilderness. The silver rhino horn alone was worth 10,000. Cat pelts, tree spirit roots, everything added up to 38,000 total. My dad kills pigs all month and barely makes 20,000. I made almost double that in one day outside the walls. I also put the Qing Feng sword up for trade. The girl at the counter suggested I swap it for another yellow rank item instead of selling it for cash only. A 10,000 fee. Smart move. Since Master Tiexin was already making me a proper butcher knife, I didn't need another weapon. What I needed was armor. I spotted a soft armor piece on the wall, made from some kind of beast scales. It looked solid but lightweight. "Let me see that one," I said. The soft armor felt great, smooth and warm. It was called flame scale armor, made from fire snake scales. It could block blades and keep me warm down to -20 degrees. I swapped the Qing Feng sword for it, then spent my remaining money on a healing pill. Just like that, I was broke again. I browsed the trading center's job board. There were all kinds of tasks, hunting beasts, collecting rare plants, even one offering big money for someone to father. A child. I found a few jobs that suited me, but I couldn't leave the city until my new knife was ready. On my way out, the girl at the counter slipped me her business card and said to call her if I couldn't sleep at night. She thought I was a good investment. I tossed the card in the trash. Dating a pighead is a bit too crazy even for someone who's actually mentally ill. When I got home, I heard arguing. Lu Jinglong had brought his father, Lu Xing, to my house demanding I return the Qingfeng sword. His dad was a 6th-rank entry-level fighter, way above my level. My parents were confused. Mom couldn't believe I'd taken a spirit weapon from a combat fighter. Dad tried to smooth things over. But Lu Xing didn't care about the details. He demanded 1 million in compensation, more than triple what the sword was actually worth. When Dad protested, Lu Xing released his aura. The pressure made it hard for all 3 of us to breathe. He smashed our marble table with one hand, scattering stone fragments everywhere. Pure intimidation. He gave us half a month to get the money, then left. Lu Jinglong followed, grinning at me. My fists were clenched. He came into my home and threatened my parents. That crossed a line. I needed to reach entry-level myself within 2 weeks. That was the only way I'd have any chance of standing up to him. Dad lit a cigarette and asked me what really happened. Mom begged me to tell them the truth so we could figure it out together. I hesitated, but I knew I couldn't hide it forever. Mom, Dad, the truth is, I'm not normal. When I told my parents I wasn't normal, they panicked. Mom carefully asked if I didn't like girls. I nodded. She patted my head and said she was open-minded and I should chase my happiness. Just stay away from Dad. No, Mom, I don't like girls or guys. I don't like humans at all. They both asked if I was into anime characters. Dad's face went white, and he begged me not to be like Old Tang's family. Apparently someone in town had a thing for beasts. I finally just blurted it all out. I told them about the hospital visit, how my spine presses on my nerves, and how I've seen every living thing. As a pig for my entire life. That means my god-level pig butcher abilities work on everything, not just actual pigs. Mom went silent. She grabbed Dad's cigarette and started smoking. Dad was shocked. She'd quit years ago. She asked if my condition basically made me a combat class. Dad said, probably. But they weren't worried about Lu Xing. Dad seemed more stressed about what would happen if people found out I could kill anything by treating it as a pig. He was afraid it would destroy our peaceful life. I asked if the disease was curable. I told them about the surgery. It could fix me, but failure means paralysis from the neck down. Dad closed his eyes in pain. Then he said, come with me. He took me to the empty slaughterhouse at night. He lit a cigarette, finished it, and said he'd created a set of butchering knife techniques over his years of killing pigs. He was going to teach me. The moment he gripped his knife, he transformed into someone completely different. The first cut is called Falling Star. He swung once. I saw a galaxy appear before my eyes. Then his blade cut through it, and every star went dark and fell from the sky. The second cut, Crashing Moon. A beautiful full moon rose. Then his blade split it in two. The halves fell and exploded into silver light. The third cut, Devouring Sunday, he raised his knife high and swung. The sun itself trembled, shrank, and went out completely. Everything was swallowed by darkness. I stumbled backward. Those 3 cuts burned into my brain. I could replay them any time, but I had a feeling I couldn't even perform the first one yet. I looked at my father, this man who kills pigs every day at a slaughterhouse, and for the first time, he felt like an unreachable mountain. Learn these 3 cuts, and you'll know everything I know about butchering, he said. I couldn't help asking, Dad, are these really for killing pigs? Of course. I'm your father. Would I lie to you? He snapped. I scratched my head. Something didn't add up. What kind of pig would require techniques that destroy stars, moons, and suns? The pig demon king from mythology? Dad yawned and went home like nothing happened, looking like his usual harmless self again. But as he walked away, he muttered something I wasn't meant to hear, that those 3 cuts weren't really for killing pigs. When I reach a high enough realm someday, they could cut down gods. I stayed behind and practiced. I swung the knife over and over, trying to replicate the first cut, Falling Star, 100 times. 1,000 times. I lost count. At dawn, when the first sunlight broke through the darkness, something clicked. I swung one more time and felt every drop of energy drain from my body. I thought I saw a galaxy flash before my eyes. Then everything went black. I woke up in a hospital bed. That same female doctor with the frameless glasses was talking to Mom. She said I'd passed out from extreme exhaustion. My body showed signs of doing 1,000 sit-ups, 1,000 push-ups, 1,000 squats, and running 100 kilometers in one night. Mom asked if that was humanly possible. The doctor said for a normal person, no, but given my mental condition, she found it perfectly reasonable. She wanted me hospitalized for psychiatric treatment. I refused immediately. If they actually cured my condition and I stopped seeing everything as pigs, my powers would be useless. I told her my mental state was just from playing too many video games, grabbed Mom, and left. I went straight back to the slaughterhouse. Without my new knife, I couldn't go to the wilderness, so killing pigs was my only option. For 9 days straight, my life was 3 things: eat, sleep, kill pigs. I slaughtered over 500 pigs and reached 9th rank apprentice. My stats all hit 50, and my pig bane bonus reached 1,000% extra damage. But the gap between 9th rank apprentice and entry level was massive. After reaching 9th rank, each pig only gave 0.1% progress instead of 1%, 10 times slower. The slaughterhouse was no longer enough. I needed to get back to the wilderness. The good news was that today was day 10, the day Master Tieshin's knife would be ready. I went to Master Tieshin's place first thing in the morning. His apprentice brought out a wooden box. It weighed over 100 pounds. When I opened it, a wave of sharp blade energy washed over me, stinging my skin. Inside lay the most beautiful butcher knife I'd ever seen. The blade gleamed with cold light, silver patterns running along it. A dark red blood groove stretching from blade to handle. It was heavy like a sledgehammer, but felt perfect in my grip. When I swung it, the air cracked with a sonic boom. Master Tieshin asked me to name it. I said, Dragonslayer. He almost lost his composure. A butcher knife named Dragonslayer? But I'm the customer, so he let it go. He told me it was yellow rank upper grade, way above the Qingfeng sword I'd traded away. The Xia family's generosity was no joke. I headed straight for the city gate. Lu Xing gave me 15 days, and 10 were already gone. I needed to break through to entry level within 5 days. At the gate, I noticed many injured fighters returning from outside. They said the beasts and foreign races in the wilderness had gone crazy recently, way more aggressive than usual, attacking on sight. Numbers had increased too. Everyone was warning people to stay inside. For me, this was great news. More targets meant faster leveling. As I left the city, I sensed 3 people tailing me. My spirit attribute was at 50, higher than most entry-level fighters, so hiding from me was pointless. I pretended not to notice and kept walking until we reached a quiet area. A throwing knife whistled past my head, cutting a few strands of hair. A curly-haired guy in his late 20s stepped out, spinning another knife. Then a short, fat guy with a spiked club and a buzz-cut guy appeared. All 3 were peak 9th rank apprentices. They said Lu Xing had sent them. They'd been camped at the gate for 10 days waiting for me. Their orders were to cut my tendons and drag me back. I looked at them calmly and smiled. I thought my Dragonslayer's first taste of blood would be from a beast. I didn't expect it to be human. I reached into my bag, gripped the handle, and slowly drew it out. A terrifying killing aura exploded outward, stinging their skin. The name, Dragonslayer, combined with that pressure made all 3 of them freeze. Even the fat guy stopped mid-charge, suddenly afraid to take another step. I pulled the knife all the way out and let them see it in full. When they saw my Dragonslayer was actually a butcher knife, all 3 of them burst out laughing. They called me abstract, asked if I had mental problems, and couldn't stop making fun of the gap between the intimidating name and the actual weapon. One slash shut them up. The buzz-cut guy's laughter stopped mid-breath. A thin red line appeared across his throat. He touched it, and blood gushed out like a fountain. He fell backward, dead instantly. The system told me killing humans gave different experience based on their strength. Higher-level people meant bigger gains. The other 2 froze with their smiles still stuck on their faces. They realized if I could kill their friend that easily, I could do the same to them. The curly-haired guy bolted without hesitation, abandoning the fat one. The fat guy tried to block with his spiked club, but my Dragonslayer cut through it like paper, and through him too, splitting him in half. The curly-haired guy didn't get far either. I threw my knife and pinned him to a tree through his chest. Then I looted their bodies. The curly guy only had throwing knives I couldn't use. The fat guy's club was already broken. The buzzcut guy turned out to be a total creep. His pockets were full of knockout drugs. I even found a third-grade darkine pill that could make anyone of the opposite sex lose control of their body. Disgusting, but worth good money. I also found a skill scroll hidden in his clothes. I used it immediately. Phantom Shadow, a mid-level movement skill that boosts my agility by 30% for 30 seconds. Not amazing, but free is free. After looting, I had an idea. Instead of hunting beasts myself, I gutted the 3 bodies and left them in the open, then climbed a nearby tree. The blood smell would attract creatures to me. Sure enough, a thorn demon showed up soon, a 9th-rank ape-like creature covered in bone spikes. It started eating the buzzcut guy's head, crunching through skull and all. When it finally noticed me jumping down from the tree, it panicked and launched all its bone spikes at me. I spun around and took them on my back. The flame scale armor blocked every single one. I turned back and killed it with one clean cut. 5% more progress. The grind continued. After killing the thorn demon, I climbed back up the tree and kept using the bodies as bait. Beasts kept coming for the blood smell, and I kept killing them, 1/ each. With my 1000% bonus damage, nothing survived a second cut. Eventually, the pile of corpses got so big that no more beasts dared approach. Even animals aren't stupid enough to walk toward a mountain of dead bodies. I needed to push deeper. By my estimate, one more 9th-rank beast or 4 or 5 8th-rank ones would push me to entry level. But as I walked further, I found nothing. No beasts anywhere, which was strange. Nighttime is when they're most active. That usually means you've wandered into something powerful's territory. The ground started shaking. A golden spider leg burst from the earth and stabbed at me. I swung my knife but couldn't cut through it. Only knocked it aside with a shower of sparks. 8 red eyes lit up. It was a gold-leg wolf spider, a 3rd-rank entry-level beast, about 4 or 5 meters wide with metallic legs sharp as spears. Way stronger than anything I'd fought before. It attacked with 4 front legs like lances while standing on the back 4. I dodged, jumped over a sweep attack, but it caught me midair with another leg. Even with my armor and pig bane having the damage, I got launched through several trees. I activated Phantom Shadow for the 30% agility boost, then hit it with Blood Shadow Butcher. Even an entry-level beast couldn't resist the fear effect. It froze for 1 second. At my boosted speed, 1 second meant covering 65 meters. I closed the distance and drove my knife into its body. Its legs were iron, but its body was soft. 1 clean kill. That did it. I broke through to entry level, 1 whole major realm up. My stats all doubled to 102. I also unlocked a new god-level skill, Soul-Slaying Blade Intent. My knife now ignores 20% of any pig's defense. Combined with Blood Shadow Butcher upgrading from 1 to 2 seconds of fear, I was massively stronger. Now I could face Lu Xing. I built a campfire and cut off one of the spider's legs to roast. It's basically a land version of king crab, pure protein. While I was grilling, a woman walked up and crouched beside me with a smile. She had horns on her head, long pointed ears, and slit pupils. Clearly not human. That smells amazing. Can I have some? She asked sweetly. A chill ran down my spine. I hadn't sensed this woman approach at all, which meant she was either a master of stealth or way stronger than me. I played it cool, smiled, and said sure, I'd share some food. While pretending to add seasoning, I crushed the darkine pill into powder and sprinkled it on the spider leg like it was cumin. Then I cracked open the shell and handed it to her. She was a succubus from the demon race. I could tell from her curved horns. She called herself Molitis. While eating, she casually asked if I'd seen a blood-red twin flower nearby. I tried to trick her, saying some guy named Lu Xing stole it and killed her snakes. She didn't buy it. Her dead pythons had recorded my face in their eyes before dying. That's how she tracked me down. Oh, you already knew? Should have said so earlier. I laughed awkwardly. Then I swung my Dragon Slayer at her head with 0 warning. The blade passed right through her, an illusion. She'd hit me with her magic without me even noticing, despite me deliberately avoiding eye contact the whole time. Her voice echoed from nowhere, demanding the flower back. I told her it was in the city and to let me go get it. She didn't believe me. Pink smoke hit me, and I blacked out. When I woke up, I was chained to a wooden frame. She stood in front of me holding 2 thin iron rods, smiling, and described a torture method so horrifying that I instantly remembered every password I'd ever forgotten. I told her the truth. The Xia family had the flowers and probably already used them. She was furious and lunged at me with the iron rods. I flexed with everything I had and snapped the chains. She was surprised a first-rank entry-level fighter had that much strength. She moved to attack again, but then the drug kicked in. The darking pill started burning through her body. As a succubus full of dark energy, she was especially vulnerable to it. She collapsed against the wall, legs pressed together, fighting the effects. Then she noticed me walking toward her. She figured I was going to do what any man would do in this situation. So she stopped resisting and started calling to me seductively. I charged at her like a starving wolf, eyes burning, diving straight for her. She even started tearing at her own clothes. Then she saw the flash of steel. What I'd pulled out wasn't what she expected. It was my butcher knife. My slash nearly took her head off, but Malitas dodged at the last second. Still, I left a deep cut on her face, right down to the bone. She screamed that she'd kill me. I knew I couldn't stick around. She was way too powerful. The drug was the only thing keeping her down. I grabbed my stuff, activated Phantom Shadow, and bolted. On my way out, I passed dozens of dried-up corpses. Humans, beastmen, even goblins. All drained by the succubus. That's how they feed, on life energy. When I burst outside, I realized I was on a mountain surrounded by endless forest in every direction. No landmarks, no idea which way led to Qingqing. If I picked the wrong direction and went deeper into the wilderness, I was dead. I used my last resort. I threw my butcher knife into the air and ran whichever way the blade pointed when it landed. Pure luck. Luck wasn't on my side. Almost immediately, a massive beast appeared. A windfire ape, nearly 5 meters tall with muscles like explosions and fur like flames. A 9th-rank entry-level creature. I thought I was finished. Then I noticed it was moving too slowly. Its body had dents all over. Someone had already beaten it half to death. A healthy one would destroy me, but one this injured? That I could handle. I used Phantom Shadow for speed, hit it with Blood Shadow Butcher to freeze it for 2 seconds, and killed it with 1 slash. The system gave me 12% progress. A man carrying a warhammer stepped out from the trees. He was nearly 6 feet tall with sharp eyes. He was surprised I'd killed the ape at just first-rank entry level. His group had been the ones who wounded it. Then a young woman in a white dress appeared, carrying an ancient zither on her back. Her name was Jiang Shiyan. They were from the 9 Heavens Alliance, one of the 4 top powers in Qingqing, equal to the Xia family. She invited me to travel back to the city with them. I agreed immediately. If Malitas came after me, these people could at least buy me time to escape. While their team struggled to skin the ape, they needed the hide intact for its fire-resistant properties. I watched them work painfully slowly. With Malitas potentially closing in, I couldn't wait. Want me to do it? I asked. I know how to skin things. I jumped onto the ape's body and got to work. For a god-level pig butcher, skinning is as easy as breathing. My knife danced precisely, cutting every connection between skin and muscle. 10 minutes later, I held a perfect hide. No blood, no tears, like it peeled off naturally. Everyone stared in shock. Uncle Qian said my skinning technique was incredible and asked where I learned it. I told him my dad taught me. As we walked, Jiang Shiyan and Uncle Qian talked about something called the Burning Heaven Valley, where a powerful warrior called the Flame Blade King had left behind his legacy. She was clearly trying to get me interested, so I joined the 9 Heavens Alliance. She explained the ranking system: Apprentice, Entry, Master, Grandmaster, and above Grandmaster 9, you become a king. The Flameblade King was at that level. She offered to bring me along if I joined their alliance. I told her I'd think about it. Honestly, she was dangling a pie I'd probably never get to eat. Even if I went, a king-level legacy would go to their top people, not me. On the way back, I didn't get to fight anything. Uncle Qian smashed every beast in our path with his warhammer. He was definitely at master level. Then, as we left the mountain, killing intent hit us from all directions. It wasn't Malitas, it was humans. A smiling man in gray led a group wearing matching uniforms with a lion and lightning emblem. The Thunder Lion Alliance, one of Qingqing's top powers and rivals of the 9 Heavens Alliance. They knew exactly what our group had collected. That meant we had a traitor. A long-haired guy named Jian Yin stepped away from us and admitted he'd sold information in exchange for weapons and skills. Uncle Qian went berserk and swung his hammer at the traitor, but the enemy leader, Lei Gang, a second-rank master, blocked it with lightning from his bare hand. He was one rank above Uncle Qian. Uncle Qian told the others to take Jiang Shiyin and me and run while he fought alone. He charged into the enemy group with his hammer, pushing them back. But Lei Gang's lightning attacks forced him to go defensive. Without Uncle Qian blocking, over a dozen entry-level fighters came after us. Jiang Shiyin unslung her zither and said we'd have to stand and fight. I couldn't help feeling frustrated. I joined these people hoping they'd protect me from Malitas. Instead, I was now helping them fight their enemies. This deal was getting worse by the minute. Jiang Shiyin started playing her zither, and it wasn't just music. Every note turned into razor-sharp sound waves that slashed at the Thunder Lion fighters. They screamed at each other to stop her. Fireballs, ice, vines, all kinds of attacks flew at her while Li Nan and Su Wanqing shielded her. Meanwhile, I used Phantom Shadow to slip away from the group fight. Everyone thought I was running away or being useless. Su Wanqing yelled at me to help. Jiang Shiyin told her to leave me alone since I was only first-rank entry-level. But I wasn't being lazy. I knew the real battle was between Uncle Qian and Lei Gang. If Uncle Qian lost, we all lost. I was watching for the right moment. Uncle Qian was losing. Each lightning hit made his muscles more numb and his movements slower. In desperation, he charged with everything he had. A single massive hammer blow meant to end it. That's exactly what Lei Gang wanted. He grinned and unleashed a lightning net to trap Uncle Qian. Uncle Qian's face went white. He couldn't stop his charge and knew the net would destroy him. That was my opening. I fired Blood Shadow Butcher, my god-level fear skill. Even a second-rank master couldn't resist it. Lei Gang froze for 2 seconds, and his lightning net collapsed instantly. Uncle Qian didn't waste a heartbeat. His hammer smashed straight into Lei Gang's chest. Lei Gang coughed blood and flew backward. His chest caved in. The Thunder Lion fighters panicked. Without Lei Gang, Uncle Qian could crush them one by one. They rushed to grab their leader. Lei Gang stared at me in shock. You're only first-rank entry-level. How could your skill affect me? Are you a legendary-level combat class? I looked at him calmly. What makes you so sure about my gender? He spat out more blood. I think the confusion hurt him more than the hammer did. Jiang Shiyin stared at me with glowing eyes, clearly fascinated. Lei Gang ordered a retreat. They left fast, but the traitor Jian Yin tried to sneak away with them. Uncle Qian wasn't having it. He charged after him screaming that the enemy could leave, but the traitor couldn't. Jian Yin dropped to his knees crying, begging for mercy, saying his wife was pregnant. Uncle Qian told him not to worry. He'd personally take care of his wife every night. Then he raised his hammer. Uncle Qian smashed the traitor's head like a watermelon. No mercy for backstabbers. After that, he gave me a bear hug and promised to treat me to a foot massage when we got back to the city. Jiang Shiyin scolded him for being inappropriate. Su Wanqing grabbed me in a headlock and apologized for yelling at me earlier. She admitted I'd saved everyone. When Li Nan asked about my job rank, I told them, God level. They all gasped. But then Uncle Qian coughed and hinted at the butcher knife connection. Jiang Shiyin's face shifted from awe to confusion. You're the God level pig butcher? Good news, God level. Bad news, pig butcher. They were polite enough not to ask how a pig butcher could one-shot powerful beasts. We decided to rest and wait for 9 Heavens Alliance reinforcements instead of risking another ambush. While waiting, I got bored and asked Jiang Shiyin for a favor. Can you hit me with those sound wave attacks? I want to train my movement skill. She agreed reluctantly. Her zither sent blades of sound flying at me. 1, then 3, then 20. I dodged them all without even activating Phantom Shadow. Faster, I kept saying. When she finally saw me use Phantom Shadow, she realized I'd been dodging everything on base speed alone. She stopped holding back and went to 70% power. Dozens of sound blades sliced at me constantly. I took some cuts. Without my flame scale armor, it would have been worse. But instead of backing off, I pushed closer to her, shortening my reaction time on purpose. The pressure worked. My body started moving on instinct. After images appeared behind me. I broke through to the advanced mastery of Phantom Shadow. 40% agility boost, 1 minute duration, and the ability to leave a trail of after images to confuse enemies. I appeared behind Jiang Shiyin and thanked her. She wiped sweat from her forehead and called me a freak. I was about to say more, but then I sensed something behind her. I smiled awkwardly. Don't relax yet. Something worse is coming. Molitas found us. She walked toward our group with murder in her eyes, the deep scar I'd left on her face still bleeding. She pointed at me and told the others to get out of her way or die too. Uncle Chuan stepped in front of me with his hammer. Nobody was willing to hand me over. But the moment Molitas unleashed her power, Uncle Chuan turned pale. She was at least a fifth-rank master, way beyond any of us. He smashed the ground to throw her off balance, and we all ran. I told them to split up since she only wanted me, but Jiang Shiyin refused. She said they owed me for saving them earlier and wouldn't abandon me. Uncle Chuan agreed. Their reinforcements should arrive soon. Honestly, I was a little disappointed. I'd been planning to use them as bait and escape with my upgraded Phantom Shadow. I only needed to be faster than them, not faster than Molitas. But they turned out to be decent people. I asked Uncle Chuan if he could finish her off if I froze her for 2 seconds. He said killing her was unlikely, but he could hit her hard enough to buy us time since succubi have weak bodies. When she caught up, I hit her with Blood Shadow Butcher. She froze, and Uncle Chuan swung his hammer like a baseball bat, launching her hundreds of meters away. But I wasn't where they expected me to be. I'd already moved into her flight path using Phantom Shadow. Uncle Chuan screamed at me to come back. She was a 5th-rank master. But I knew if I didn't end this now, I'd never be able to leave the city again. I drove my Dragon's Lair into her back with the full force of Soul-Slaying Blade intense armor-piercing effect, using the momentum from Uncle Chuan's hammer blow. Purple blood sprayed across my face. She screamed and unleashed her ultimate move, Dream Realm. Pink smoke surrounded everything, dragging people into an illusion they'd never escape from. My vision started going blank. I bit down hard on my tongue. The pain kept me barely conscious. I twisted the knife inside her body. She screamed again. As a succubus, she's terrible at close combat. She kept trying to pull my mind into her illusion while I kept carving up her insides with my butcher knife. We were locked in a stalemate. Uncle Chuan and the others couldn't help. If they got close, the illusion would take them, and ranged attacks might hit me too. She was losing blood fast. In desperation, she twisted her neck nearly 180 degrees with a sickening crack until she was face to face with me, our eyes inches apart. Charm of seduction. Molitas used her ultimate seduction move. Her eyes turned into pink hearts designed to awaken desire in any man, no matter how strong. No male should be able to resist it. But I felt nothing. To me, she was still just a pig head. A pig head trying to look seductive is still a pig head. Humans don't feel attraction toward pigs. They can't. At least they shouldn't. I pulled my knife from her back and cut her throat. Her head fell off, still wearing a look of disbelief. She never imagined she'd die to a first-rank entry-level human. That kill gave me 150% experience. My level jumped straight to second-rank entry, almost third. It was insanely risky, but without Uncle Chuan's hammer blow softening her up first, I never would have tried it. The others stared at me like I was an alien. A first-rank entry-level killing a 5th-rank master? Even in fiction, that sounds ridiculous. Then I crouched by her body and started working. I cut her open methodically, removing organs one by one, looking for a demon crystal. Higher-level demons form energy crystals inside their bodies. They're incredibly valuable for enchanting weapons or refining pills. I found a black oval crystal, smooth and warm, pulsing with dark power. A 5th-rank master's demon crystal was worth as much as a top-tier yellow-rank spirit weapon. Jackpot! I grinned. When I turned around to celebrate, Uncle Chuan and the others were staring at me with fear in their eyes. They'd been fine, watching me skin an ape, but watching me neatly disassemble a human-shaped creature into parts like an expert surgeon, that crossed a line for them. My technique was too fast, too clean, too elegant. I scratched my nose awkwardly. I guess watching someone butcher another pig right in front of you would be scary if you're also a pig in my eyes. 9 Heavens reinforcements arrived, powerful fighters who knelt before Jiang Shiyin. She invited me to travel back with them, but I declined. Molitas was dead, so I didn't need bodyguards anymore. She promised me a spot in the burning Heaven Valley expedition if I joined the alliance. I thanked her, but didn't commit. Joining a faction makes sense for combat classes who need resources and guidance. But I'm just a pig butcher. I only need to keep killing to get stronger. Being tied to an organization would slow me down. After they left, I didn't head home. Instead, I turned around and walked toward Molitas's mountain lair. One demon crystal wasn't enough. A 5th-rank master succubus had to have way more good stuff stashed in her den. I found my way back to Melitus's cave. Past the dried corpses and the torture room where she'd chained me up, I discovered her real den, and a pool of dark purple water called a dark demon pool. Demons use this water to strengthen their bodies when leveling up, and it works on humans too. A small jar sells for tens of thousands. I stripped naked and jumped in. The water was freezing, like 1,000 needles stabbing every pore at once. The pain was agonizing, but I gritted my teeth and stayed submerged. Slowly, I felt my body getting tougher. By the time the water stopped hurting, my skin had a metallic shine. I could punch a 3rd-rank entry-level beast to death with my bare hands now. I couldn't waste all that water, so I filled every container I could find. 5 buckets, for cups, 3 basins, 2 spittoons, and a chamber pot. Even then, I only got about 1/3 of it. I wished I had a storage item. I also found 4 skill scrolls written in demon language I couldn't read, then headed back to the city. At the trading center, the same chubby girl from before was at the counter. She looked at me with hurt eyes and asked why I never called her. Apparently, she'd been dressing up in lingerie waiting for me every night. I mumbled something about being busy. When I started pulling out my containers of pool water, everyone stared. Demon pool water stored in teapots, buckets, basins, spittoons, and a chamber pot. It was like putting expensive wine in plastic buckets. The water had extra impurities since both Melitus and I had soaked in it, so they offered 70% of market price, 25,000 per liter. With 78.5 liters total, that came to 1,962,500. I was suddenly a millionaire. I paid to have the demon scrolls translated. 3 were mid-level seduction skills. Useless to me since I'd rather just cut pig heads off than charm them. I sold those for another 1.5 million. The 4th was a high-level skill scroll that caught my attention. Illusory Strike. I decided to keep the high-level illusion skill scroll for myself. Illusory Strike. Seduction skills were useless to me, but illusion techniques could be game-changers in battle. I sold the 3 mid-level charm scrolls for another 1.5 million. The demon crystal I kept for enchanting my dragon slayer later. The counter girl chased me down again with her number, listing all the things she could do. I tossed it in the trash on my way out. I can't feel attraction toward a pig head, no matter how enthusiastic she is. I rushed home, excited to share the good news with my parents. I pushed open the door, and my smile froze. The house was destroyed. Sofa flipped, TV smashed, furniture in pieces everywhere. Like bandits had torn through it. Dad? Mom? Nobody answered. I searched everywhere. They were gone. My eyes went red. I forced myself to breathe, to think. My parents are ordinary people, a pig butcher and a cook. They have no enemies. Nobody would hurt them for no reason. Unless. Lu Xing. I grabbed my butcher knife and charged to the school. I shoved past the security guards, broke into the records room, knocked out the teacher, and found Lu Jinglong's home address. I ran straight to their house in the rich part of town. I kicked their iron gate clean off its hinges. Lu Xing walked out with his son, smirking. "Where are my parents?" I demanded. He laughed in my face. "Your parents?" I chopped them up and fed them to the fish. By now they've probably been digested. He said it was punishment for what I'd done to his son. Lu Jinglong hid behind his father, grinning. Everything went silent. I couldn't hear anything anymore. Just buzzing. My parents, chopped up, thrown away like garbage. They were dead. Because of me. My hands and feet went ice cold. My mind went blank. 5 security guards tackled me to the ground, and that finally snapped me back. I exploded, threw all 5 of them off me like ragdolls. My body was far beyond normal after soaking in the demon pool. I stared at Lu Xing with pure murder in my eyes. "You killed my parents. This debt can only be paid in blood. Yours and your entire family's." I charged at him. He raised one hand casually, thinking a 6th rank entry level could easily block a 2nd rank. The moment our fist and palm connected, his expression shattered. The force was nothing like what he expected. His own hand smashed back into his own face, and his body flew like a cannonball straight through the wall of his house. Stone and dust exploded everywhere. Lu Jinglong stood frozen, mouth hanging open. His father, a 6th rank entry-level fighter, had just been punched through a wall by a pig butcher with bare hands. Lu Xing crawled out of the rubble, shocked. He finally noticed I was already 2nd rank entry level and couldn't understand how a pig butcher could level up so fast. I didn't care about his confusion. I didn't even draw my knife. I wanted to beat him to death with my fists, slowly. I charged again. Each punch sent him skidding backward, leaving trenches in the ground. My speed was just as terrifying as my strength. A kick to the head sent him flying. He finally got serious. Granite armor, rock covered his entire body like a suit of stone. My next punch barely hurt him through it. Give up, pig butcher. You can't break my defense, he sneered, then countered with a punch that slammed me into an iron railing hard enough to bend it. But after the demon pool, my body could take it. I activated Phantom Shadow and left an afterimage. His flying knee went right through it while I appeared behind him. I started hammering the same spot on the back of his neck. First punch, second, third, fourth. No emotion, no hesitation, like a machine. My hands turned bloody, but I didn't stop. Crack after crack, the granite armor started breaking apart. He panicked. He'd never seen a life skill class with this kind of body and fighting ability. He hit me. I hit him back harder. He kicked me. I kneed him. We stood toe-to-toe trading blows. His armor kept crumbling. He tried to run. I kicked him in the back, then whipped a roundhouse into his skull. He crashed to the ground. I mounted him and started punching his face. One punch. Two. Three. His arms broke, trying to block. The granite on his face shattered. My fists met flesh. His head swelled into a massive lump. I could hear his skull groaning. My own fists were destroyed, skin gone, white bones showing underneath. I didn't care. I kept punching, expressionless. His eyes, swollen to slits, filled with pure terror. He realized I was going to beat him to death right here. He screamed, "Wait! Stop! I didn't kill your parents. They might still be alive." My fist stopped inches from his face. He said my parents might still be alive. Where are they? My voice came out raspy. I hadn't even noticed. I don't know, he screamed. He told me that when he went to my house to grab my parents, he found them already surrounded by mysterious people in black robes. These figures were incredibly powerful. Their aura alone made Lu Xing unable to breathe. Nobody in Qingcheng was at that level. He said the black-robed people were arguing with my parents about something he couldn't hear. Their robes had a ghost face symbol on them. When one of them spotted Lu Xing, they knocked him out with just a glance. When he woke up, everyone was gone and my house was trashed. My mind raced. Black-robed strangers? A ghost face symbol? Were my parents hiding something from me? At least there was hope. They might still be alive. That loosened the knot in my chest. But I still wanted to kill Lu Xing. We were enemies now, and leaving him alive meant future problems. He noticed my look and panicked, pointing at the security cameras and the neighbors watching. Killing him here in broad daylight would cause too much trouble. I let him go and walked away in silence. After I left, Lu Xing called his cousin, Lei Gang, the same second-rank master from the Thunder Lion Alliance. He told Lei Gang about my unnatural strength and hinted that I might have some valuable secret. Lei Gang was already looking for the person who'd ruined his ambush on the Nine Heavens group. He said he'd come tonight. I went home. The house was empty and cold. No pork bone soup waiting for me. I started cleaning up the mess, searching carefully for any clue my parents might have left behind. They wouldn't just disappear without leaving something. I went through everything. Every piece of broken furniture, every overturned trash can. Finally, under the shattered marble table in the living room, I found a letter pressed beneath a slab. My heart pounded. I was excited and terrified at the same time. I took a breath, opened the envelope, and pulled out the paper. When I read what was written on it, my eyes went wide with shock. The letter was from Dad. He wrote, "Son, I thought you were just an ordinary pig butcher and we could live a peaceful life. But when you told me you can treat all living things as pigs, I knew fate had played a joke on us. Mom and Dad can't stay with you anymore. You have to walk your own path now. Don't try to find us. You're not strong enough to face them. As long as you're happy, that's enough." I gripped the letter tightly. Them must be the black-robed people Lu Xing saw. But why would my ability to kill everything as pigs force my parents to leave? None of it made sense. But I got two pieces of good news. First, my parents are alive. Second, without them here, I have no weak points anyone can threaten. I just need to get stronger until I can beat whoever took them. I used the high-level skill scroll, Illusory Strike. It hides my real body and creates a decoy 1 meter in front of me. Anyone with lower spirit than mine can't tell it's fake. Combined with my insanely high spirit stat, almost nobody could see through it. I cleaned up the house, ate some instant noodles, then grabbed my dragon slayer and jumped off the balcony into the night. I put on a long coat, hat, and mask and went back to Lu Xing's neighborhood. This time I knew the layout. The guards didn't even notice me. I knocked on the door. Lu Jinglong opened it, expecting his father's cousin. Instead, he found a butcher knife at his throat. Before he could beg, I slit it clean. He dropped without a sound. Rare level combat class, bright future, none of it mattered now. I walked inside. Lu Xing came out with a cup of tea, saw me holding a bloody knife, then spotted his son's body by the door. He screamed and activated his granite armor. This time I had my dragon slayer. I activated Phantom Shadow, closed the distance in a flash, and cut through his stone armor like tofu. One slash across his neck. That afternoon we'd fought evenly with bare fists. Now with my knife and skills combined, he couldn't survive a single cut. He collapsed, eyes wide open, unable to understand how I'd gotten so much stronger in just a few hours. His wife walked out in a face mask. She saw two bodies and opened her mouth to scream. I silenced her too. The whole family, together. I set the house on fire. The flames lit up the night sky as neighbors came running. In the chaos, I slipped into the darkness. But just as I was about to disappear, a bolt of lightning crashed down straight at me. Lei Gang's lightning bolt nearly hit me, but I used illusory strike just in time. The lightning smashed my decoy while I slipped away into the darkness. Lei Gang chased but lost me. Turns out he was Lu Xing's cousin. I really do have terrible luck with that family. I burned my clothes, climbed back in through my balcony in just shorts, and lay low. For the next 5 days, my routine was simple. Sleep, go to the slaughterhouse, kill pigs, come home. Killing regular pigs was slow for leveling, but it still boosted my pig bane, damage, and stats. 5 days later, someone knocked on my door. Not the Thunder Lion Alliance, investigators. 2 of them, a man and a woman, both clearly strong. The female investigator, Huang Meilin, had done her homework. On paper, I'm a mentally ill pig butcher with stats of 5 strength, 3 agility, and 2 spirit. My parents are ordinary people. But she also knew that I'd beaten a 6th-rank entry-level fighter with my bare hands in broad daylight, and that I'd brought back valuable loot from 2 trips outside the city. She was clearly suspicious. She asked where I was the night Lu Xing died. I said home. She asked if anyone could confirm it. I said no. Then I looked up at her with big, innocent eyes and asked if she could help me find my missing parents. She seemed thrown off. She was piecing it together. My parents disappearing gave me motive to kill Lu Xing. She had motive and opportunity. But the logic didn't work. How could a life-skill pig butcher silently kill a 6th-rank entry-level fighter? Her own data said my stats were 5, 3, and 2. She pushed harder. What did you do outside the city? Killed pigs? I said. There are pigs outside the city, yes, but the pigs out there are really strong. Lots of them I can't beat. She squinted at me. Besides killing pigs, what else can you do? I spat out a piece of apple and looked at her blankly. Watch TV. The apple piece I spat out landed right on Investigator Huang's head. She looked annoyed but held her temper since I'm a certified mental patient. She asked if I knew Lu Xing. I started crying, telling her how his son bullied me and Lu Xing came to my house demanding money. Then she asked straight out, "Did you kill Lu Xing?" Both investigators tensed up, ready to fight. I tilted my head and gave them a creepy smile. No, 2-legged pigs can't be killed. Only 4-legged pigs. And you too, you're 2-legged pigs. They both shivered like prey being watched by a predator. Huang quickly wrapped things up, promised to investigate my missing parents, and left. Outside, her partner asked why she didn't arrest me. She explained, no hard evidence, and even if I confessed, a mentally ill person's testimony can't be used in court. She decided to investigate my parents' disappearance instead. She believed that trail would lead to the truth. This was exactly my plan. I'd killed Lu Xing's family partly, so the investigators would get involved and start searching for my parents. Finding them on my own would be like searching for a needle in the ocean. Let the professionals handle it. But the Thunder Lion Alliance would also trace things back to me soon. I couldn't stay home anymore. I packed up and headed to Master Tiexin's place. I showed him the succubus demon crystal and asked him to enchant my dragon slayer with it. He noticed I'd jumped from 8th rank apprentice to 2nd rank entry since my last visit and nearly choked on his pipe. He looked at me differently after that. He examined the crystal and said a succubus's magic would make my blade unpredictable and elusive rather than simply more powerful. The enchanting fee was 3 million. I winced. That was almost everything I had. But he offered to refund 1 million if it succeeded on the first try. He melted the crystal in his bare hands, and the liquid wrapped around my butcher knife, forming a pattern on the blade. The pattern was a pink heart with black wings. I recognized it immediately. What the? That's a lewd symbol. I almost lost it. My butcher knife now had a lewd pink heart with black wings permanently etched into the blade. Every time I swing it, that symbol would flash before my eyes. I secretly hoped the enchantment would fail. It didn't. Master Tieshin wiped sweat from his forehead and grinned. Success. Lucky you. I wanted to cry. He thought I was upset about the price, so he started explaining how enchanting is all about skill. I told him I was just sad because my wife was remarrying. He sighed about how much life experience I had for someone so young. Then he tested the enchantment by swinging the knife at me himself. For 8 swings, nothing happened. On the 9th, the pink heart lit up and I was pulled into a hallucination. Suddenly, instead of a muscular old blacksmith, I saw a pair of gorgeous legs in white stockings, a cute outfit. And then, on top of it all, a pig head blushing and staring at me seductively. That snapped me out of it instantly. Nothing kills desire faster than a flirtatious pig head. The enchantment effect was actually incredible. Every 9 consecutive swings triggers a seduction illusion on the target. In real combat, an enemy suddenly lost in that kind of fantasy would be completely defenseless. Between this, my illusory strike, skill, and my other tricks, I'd basically become a deception specialist instead of a simple butcher. I paid the 2 million and moved on. On my way to the Nine Heavens Alliance, Principal Zhao caught me on the street, panting. He said the school needed my help. Lu Jinglong was dead, so they had an empty spot in the upcoming high school tournament. He wanted me to fill it and help the school win. I told him I was busy. He offered money. I suddenly had free time. He explained the tournament uses a point system. Even though Ling Xian would take first place individually, the school needed more students in the top 10 to win overall. Without Lu Jinglong, they were short. I asked if a life skill pig butcher was even allowed to compete. Nobody in the entire federation had ever done it before. Zhao looked me dead in the eyes. That's not your problem to worry about. You're not like other people, Chuan. Don't waste your time just killing pigs. Principal Zhao was desperate. With Lu Jinglong dead, his school was short one fighter for the upcoming high school tournament. He wanted me to fill the spot. It was absurd. No life skill class had ever competed before. It's like sending a fish to fight tigers. But he'd seen me beat Lu Jinglong with 1 punch, so he figured I was at least somewhat useful. Dead horse, live doctor, that kind of thinking. I asked about payment. He said name my price if I made the top 10. I told him I wanted a storage-type spirit weapon, one that can hold items inside a pocket dimension. Every blacksmith in Qingcheng can't even make one. They're incredibly rare and expensive. He winced. We negotiated. Top 3 gets me the storage weapon. Top 10, but not top 3, gets me 500,000 cash. He clearly didn't think a pig butcher could crack the top 3. He figured he'd just pay the 500,000. We both walked away smiling, each thinking we'd gotten the better deal. He told me to spend the next 10 days leveling up to at least first rank entry. I kept a straight face. I was already second rank. On my way to the Nine Heavens Alliance, I felt people tailing me. They vanished once I reached the Alliance building. Definitely Thunder Lion scouts. The guards let me straight in. Jiang Shiyin had left standing orders. She was happy to see me, wearing an elegant dress with a golden phoenix hairpin. I told her the truth. I wasn't joining because I wanted to, but because the Thunder Lion Alliance was after me and I'd be dead on the streets otherwise. She apologized, saying it was partly their fault, and promised I could leave freely whenever I wanted. She offered to take me to soak in dark demon pool water they'd just purchased from the trading center. My face went weird. That was MY bathwater they'd bought. I politely declined. She gave me a tour instead. First floor, lobby. Second, cafeteria. Third, skill training. Fourth, sparring arena with expert coaches. Fifth floor. She blushed and told me I was forbidden from going there. As we walked past, I heard some very suggestive sounds from inside. Apparently, that was the relaxation floor. Shiyin quickly pulled me away from the 5th floor. She explained the Alliance members lived dangerous lives hunting beasts, So the fifth floor is their stress relief area. Fair enough. She set me up in room 803 on the 8th floor with a fingerprint lock. Nice view. I could see half of Qingqing from the balcony. She explained the rules. As an entry-level member, I needed to complete at least one 2-star mission per month. Missions earn contribution points, which can buy anything: weapons, skill scrolls, expert training, or just cash at 1,000 per point. She gave me 100 points to start and told me to lay low while the Thunder Lion Alliance was watching. I had 10 days until the tournament. No going outside the city, Lei Gang would ambush me. So I'd spend the time improving my skills. Uncle Qian showed up at my door with a big grin and my ID card. He immediately tried to drag me to the 5th floor as his treat. I told him I had sensitive skin. He shook his head like I was a foolish child who didn't understand life yet. I asked him about skill scrolls. Low grade costs 100 points, mid grade 300, high grade 1,000. My 100 points would barely buy one low grade scroll. When I mentioned wanting blade or close combat skills, he told me not to worry and said he'd bring me something. I headed to the 3rd floor skill training area. The body movement practice room was small, about 50 square meters with magic arrays that shoot wind blades from different directions based on difficulty. I started at the lowest setting. 2 wind blades, front and back. Pathetically easy with my stats over 100. I cranked it up to the maximum. Hell difficulty. Every surface lit up. Wind blades came from all 6 directions at once, filling the entire room. Even with Phantom Shadow at full power and afterimages trailing behind me, I still took several cuts. But I was excited. Under this insane pressure, my mastery of Phantom Shadow was climbing fast. A few days of this, and I'd reach perfect mastery. The noise from my room drew a crowd outside. People were stunned. Hell difficulty was something only a handful of master-level assassins in the entire alliance could handle. They all started guessing which elite fighter was inside, waiting to see how long the person could last. Everyone outside expected whoever was in the hell difficulty room to come out after an hour or two. Even the alliance's best speed specialists, 2 master-level assassins, could only last that long. The intense focus needed to dodge wind blades from every direction drains your spirit fast. 3 hours passed. People started panicking, thinking someone had died in there. Then I walked out with about a dozen shallow cuts and a sweat-soaked shirt. The crowd stared at me like I was a freak. Some actually went inside to check if the magic arrays were broken. Uncle Qian showed up and shooed everyone away. What's the big deal? You should see what he does outside the city. He brought me 2 mid-level skill scrolls, a blade technique and a fist technique. When I started to say thanks, he glared at me. I told you, no thank yous between friends. I used both scrolls immediately. Cloud Splitting Slash boosts my attack by 50% with a swift, devastating cut. Stone Shattering Fist channels all my strength into one punch over 3 seconds, enough to crack mountains. For the next 10 days, I lived on the 3rd floor. Eat, sleep, train, nothing else. I practiced Cloud Splitting Slash, Stone Shattering Fist, and Phantom Shadow nonstop in the training rooms. People in the Alliance started getting worried about my sanity. Even Shurian and Uncle Qian came to check on me. I smiled but didn't explain. Whatever took my parents is probably far more terrifying than anything I've faced. I need to grab every chance to get stronger. By the 10th night, all 3 skills had transformed. Cloud Splitting Slash reached Advanced Mastery, 80% attack boost. Stone Shattering Fist reached Advanced, charging time cut to 2 seconds. And Phantom Shadow hit Perfect Mastery, 70% agility boost lasting 3 full minutes, with afterimages so realistic they looked like real people. In the training room, over a dozen copies of me filled the space, and the wind blades passed right through them. My rank hadn't changed, still 2nd rank entry. But my actual combat power was worlds apart from 10 days ago. The current me could easily destroy the me from before. With some time left before the tournament, I decided I needed real combat experience instead of more solo practice. Late that night, I went up to the 9th floor and found Uncle Qian still awake. Together, we headed down to the 4th floor sparring arena for a fight. The morning of the tournament, I left the 9 Heavens Alliance. Shurian and Uncle Qian saw me off. Uncle Qian had a black eye my doing. The night before, I dragged him out of bed for a sparring match. He figured a master fighting a 2nd rank entry level would be a joke. He was wrong. My afterimages and illusory strike decoy had him swinging at air, unable to tell which, me, was real. When I pulled out my Dragon Slayer and hit 9 slashes, the enchantment triggered. He suddenly saw his first love from when he was 18, wearing cute underwear. He froze. I punched him straight in the eye socket. A master-level fighter, given a black eye by a second-rank entry level. He was furious, but also impressed. Shurian's eyes sparkled when she heard. She mentioned something about taking me to that place after the Burning Heaven Valley trip, but Uncle Qian warned her not to rush it. At school, I ran into the records room teacher from before. He recognized me, started pointing, so I knocked him out again. Principal Zhao was thrilled when he felt my second-rank entry-level aura. He told me to go join the others downstairs. 29 students were already waiting. And there she was, Ling Xian, standing in the middle like an ice goddess holding a sword, cold and untouchable. Since awakening her legendary snow spirit sword immortal class, her whole presence had changed. Just standing near her made people feel inferior. The moment I showed up, everyone assumed I was there to chase her again. They started hurling insults, calling me shameless, disgusting, her only black mark. I didn't bother arguing. I showed them my psychiatric certificate, then walked up to a stone pillar and punched it. The pillar cracked with a massive hole and spiderweb fractures spreading outward. Everyone shut up instantly. A mentally ill person with terrifying destructive power. Nobody wanted to provoke that. Ling Xian shook her head. Showing off in front of me is pointless, Chuan. Then without even drawing her sword, she sent invisible blade energy slicing through the same pillar, cutting it into 4 or 5 smooth sections like butter. Everyone gasped. Legendary level combat class was on another level entirely. They all thought, if she's the moon, we're just fireflies. And I was the firefly stupid enough to chase the moon. I could tell from Ling Xian's aura that she was 4th rank entry level. But as a legendary class, her actual combat power was far beyond that. She'd crush someone like Lu Xing in under 10 rounds. She thought I was scared into silence and told me to leave. I told her Principal Zhao invited me, and she could take it up with him. When Zhao came down and called roll, the last name was mine. Everyone was shocked. Students started protesting. Why was a pig butcher taking a tournament spot? Where was Lu Jinglong? They didn't know his whole family was already dead. Zhao was about to explain, but I told him I'd handle it. Before he could respond, I charged into the group like a wolf among sheep. My demon pool strengthened body combined with stats over 100 made this laughably easy. An iron shoulder check sent 4 or 5 flying. 1 punch each after that. Everyone who got hit felt like they'd been hit by a truck. Someone tried to sneak attack me from behind. I elbowed them unconscious. In seconds, over a dozen people were on the ground with bruised faces. Zhao yelled at me to stop. I smiled innocently and said they were just surface wounds, and now nobody would question why I was on the roster. He couldn't argue with the results. We loaded onto the bus. At the Dragon Breath Arena, crowds filled the stands. TV crews and internet streamers had come from other cities. Everyone wanted to see the legendary level fighter from Qingqing. Ling Xian, already guaranteed a spot at Tianxiong Academy, went straight upstairs. Students like her skipped the first round. Zhao explained the rules. Round 1 uses a Swiss-style format. Random matchups, win 3 and advance, lose 3 and you're out. Round 2 is elimination brackets with a winner's side and loser's side. At the registration desk, the worker asked my profession. When I said, pig butcher, he stopped writing mid-character. Kid, don't mess around. Filling in fake information could ruin your life. I'm not joking. I really am a pig butcher. Then what are you doing at a combat tournament? Are you here to cause trouble? Show me where in the rules it says a pig butcher can't compete. He flipped through the entire rulebook cover. To cover, there was nothing. No rule had ever been written banning life skill classes from competing, because nobody had ever been crazy enough to try. Well, nobody except a certified mental patient. The worker reluctantly registered me after I threatened to file a complaint. Technically, nothing in the rules banned life skill classes from competing. I was a legitimate student with valid credentials, just also a certified mental patient. The arena had 60 battle platforms for round 1. A stern official announced that teachers from the 3 top academies, Tianxiong, Zhimu, and Taichu, were watching from the VIP section, scouting talent. If you shined bright enough, you'd get recruited to a top school. Life-changing stuff. I looked at the 3 academy teachers. Their auras were suffocating, the strongest people I'd ever encountered. I couldn't even tell what level they were. Grandmaster? Maybe even king level? Ling Xian stood behind the Tianqiong Academy teacher, a cold-looking middle-aged woman named Lu Jingya. Next to Ling Xian was a handsome guy named Lin Yu. Lu Jingya told him that if I kept bothering Ling Xian, he should teach me a lesson. The matchups appeared on screen. Mine read, Platform 15, Inkai High School, Lu Kai, Advanced Lightning Eagle Spearman vs. Qingcheng High School, Yi Chuan, God-level Pig Butcher. The entire arena went crazy. Every single I shifted to Platform 15. Nobody cared about the other 59 fights. People were shouting, a pig butcher in a combat tournament? Was this a joke? It was like sending a eunuch to star in a love scene. Even the Zhimu Academy teacher laughed and said he'd never seen a life skill class on stage in all his years of recruiting. Up on the platform, my opponent Lu Kai practically ran over to shake my hand with tears of gratitude. All the attention was on our fight, which meant maximum exposure for him. He just had to beat me convincingly, and the academy teachers would remember his name. Bro, thank you. After this, I'm buying you dinner, he said, beaming. I scratched my head. We were supposed to be opponents, and this guy was thanking me. Strange school. The referee called start. Lu Kai summoned a black spear crackling with blue lightning, let out an eagle cry, leaped high into the air, and brought the weapon down toward my head with everything he had. His eyes were shining with excitement. He could already see his bright future unfolding. In the stands, the other three school principals immediately started mocking Principal Zhao. You really have nobody left? A pig butcher? We can lend you some students. They all laughed. Zhao just smiled. Wait and see. On the platform, Lu Kai brought his lightning spear down at my head with everything he had. Everyone thought I was frozen in fear. The whole audience was sure I was about to die, or at least end up crippled. I threw one punch. It collided with his spear head-on. The spear bent into a weird angle, and Lu Kai flew off the platform, spitting blood. He hit the ground confused, not understanding what had just happened. The examiner checked him and announced my victory. The crowd went silent, then erupted. Most people hadn't even seen what I did. It was too fast. Zhao laughed in the other principals' faces. They all went quiet. They could tell I was second-rank entry level, which meant I'd likely secure a top 10 spot easily. Combined with Ling Xian's guaranteed first place, the championship was probably going to Qingcheng High. The Zhimu Academy teacher, Qin Yan, noticed my raw physical power and got excited. Then disappointed when he remembered I was just a pig butcher. He said if I were a combat class, he'd recruit me on the spot. But life skill classes hit a wall at higher levels. At Master Realm, a pig butcher would need to kill tens of thousands of pigs per rank. The highest pig butcher in human history only reached Grandmaster at age 70. The Tianqiong teacher, Lu Jingya, dismissed me as another delusional life class fighter trying to punch above his station. My second match was against a fire mage. He tried to keep distance, but I activated my perfected phantom shadow, left a trail of afterimages, closed the gap instantly, and kicked him off the platform. Third match, same result. 3 straight wins. First batch to advance to round 2. I sat down and watched the rest. 2 hours later, the first round ended. Then 3 people walked down from the VIP section to join round 2, the pre-admitted students. Ling Xian led them, looking like an untouchable ice fairy. The crowd went wild. Behind her were 2 others. I looked at the girl following Ling Xian and froze. I knew her. When I looked at the 3 pre-admitted students walking down, I spotted a familiar face, Xia Nan Nan, the rich girl I'd saved from the goblins. She winked at me playfully. Same immature girl as before. The matchups appeared. Ling Xian's opponent immediately forfeited without even stepping on stage. Smart move. My draw wasn't so lucky. Platform 3, Lingyun High School, Lu Wan'er, Rare Level Berserker Warrior vs. Yi Chuan, God Level Pig Butcher. Everyone said I was done. Lu Wan'er was a top seed, nearly guaranteed for the top 5. Even Principal Zhao was worried about my bad luck. I climbed onto the platform and saw a tiny girl under 5'3", wrapped in an oversized jacket, looking at me with puppy eyes. Big brother, could you maybe go easy on me? Absolutely, you can count on me, I said, patting my chest. Thank you, she cooed sweetly. The moment the match started, she ripped off her jacket. Underneath was a body packed with insane muscle. I almost choked. What? Are you Neza or something? She giggled sweetly while her eyes turned deadly. She was second-rank entry level, same as me, and threw a punch at my skull with everything she had. Perfect, a durable target to test my new skill on. Stone-shattering fist. I channeled all my strength into my fist and met hers head-on. Her expression shifted to pure shock. Her entire arm twisted into a grotesque angle, broken by the explosive force. She screamed and grabbed her arm, cold sweat pouring down her face. The arena went dead silent. A pig butcher just shattered the arm of a rare-level combat specialist at the same rank? It was like a house cat biting through a T-Rex's neck. The Lingyun High principal jumped to his feet screaming that I must be on performance-enhancing drugs. He demanded blood tests, urine tests, every test possible. The crowd started eyeing me suspiciously. It made sense. How else could a life skill class do this? I shrugged and agreed to every test. They drew blood, collected saliva, urine, the works. Half an hour later, the examiner announced the results with a strange look on his face. All of Chuan's tests came back clean. The tournament continues. The arena exploded into chaos. No drugs. Just a pig butcher who genuinely punched a same-rank rare-level warrior's arm clean off with raw power. Nobody could explain it. Lu Wanner couldn't accept losing to a pig butcher. She activated her class talent, boiling blood, which turned her skin red, boosted her stats, and actually healed her broken arm. She charged at me like a wild animal. I sighed. If you won't leave with dignity, I'll help you leave. I activated Phantom Shadow. Afterimages filled the platform. She couldn't even touch my sleeve. I circled behind her and kicked her so hard she flew off the stage in a beautiful arc toward the audience seats. The examiner started to chase after her, then realized she was flying faster than he could run. He lit a cigarette instead and waited. The Taichu Academy teacher, the woman with the veil, caught Lu Wanner with a gentle force and set her down. She was already unconscious. 2 moves. 1 punch to break her arm, 1 kick to send her flying. And I clearly wasn't going full power. Everyone fell silent. Nobody could deny it anymore. This pig butcher was the real deal. The only explanation was that my base stats were absurdly high. The Jinmu teacher Qin Yin was genuinely interested now. What if he's actually worth investing in? The Taichu teacher said she sensed something different about me, that the way I looked at people was strange. But the Tianxiong teacher shut them both down. Life skill classes aren't worth training. The Federation has proven this countless times. After that fight, nobody wanted to draw me as their opponent. People who matched against me forfeited without stepping on stage, the same treatment Ling Xian got. I cruised through the winner's bracket all the way to the semifinals. Principal Zhao was ecstatic. 4th place guaranteed 7 points, plus Ling Xian's 1st place 10. That was 17 points total, almost certainly enough for the school championship. He was secretly hoping I'd stop at 4th, so he'd only owe me 500,000 cash instead of the storage weapon he'd promised for top 3. He was confident the 3 pre-admitted students would block me. The crowd stared at the semi-final bracket with disbelief. 3 pre-admitted geniuses and a pig butcher. The world felt upside down. The semi-finals started on a single large platform. The first match was Ling Xian versus Lu Chun, an epic-level Frost Moon swordsman. Everyone was excited. They'd finally get to see Ling Xian actually fight. Lu Chun drew his sword, and frost spread across the air. Then Ling Xian unsheathed hers, a mystic-rank spirit weapon called the Frost Lingering Sword. The moment it came out, snow started falling from a clear sky. Lu Chen's face went pale. Her weapon, rank, and level were all above his. He decided to at least go down fighting with style. But the instant she moved, her blade was already at his throat. He never even saw the strike. 1 move. Done. The whole arena went silent, then erupted in gasps. Lu Chun was already considered a genius, an epic-level fighter at entry-level 3, and she'd finished him before he could blink. The academy teachers estimated she could challenge a weak, first-rank master. Then it was my turn. My opponent was Nan Nan. We stood across from each other on the platform. It was awkward. She asked why I never came to see her this past month. I told her I'd been killing pigs, and that her family told me to stay away. They were afraid I'd make a move on you, I said bluntly. Her face turned bright red. The examiner was losing patience. Are you two going to fight or not? Nan Nan walked off the platform. I forfeit. I can't beat him. Everyone froze. An epic-level combat fighter surrendering to a pig butcher? The audience assumed she threw the match because she had feelings for me. They'd seen us chatting and her blushing. In the stands, the Xia family butler grabbed his head in despair. We failed to prevent it. The young miss has caught feelings, but only Nan Nan knew the truth. She'd watch me solo. A cave full of goblins, one-shot an entry-level python from the inside, and kill everything in the wilderness without breaking a sweat. I hadn't even pulled out my butcher knife in this entire tournament. She genuinely couldn't beat me, and she knew I wouldn't hold back just because she was a girl. So now I was in the finals. A pig butcher in the championship match. Principal Zhao's face was probably turning very, very pale right about now. That storage weapon he'd promised for top 3? He was going to owe it to me after all. Just like that, I made it to the finals. Both finalists were from Qingcheng High. Principal Zhao was over the moon. First and second place guaranteed, championship locked in. He told me to just surrender. I said no. First place comes with a rare level skill scroll, and I wanted it. Could he maybe ask Ling Xian to forfeit instead? The entire arena went dead silent. People who were already getting up to leave froze mid-step. This pig butcher wanted to actually fight the legendary level prodigy? Zhao nearly fainted. He begged me to stop joking. But Ling Xian spoke up calmly. If he wants to fight, I'll fight him. She walked onto the stage carrying her sword. I hopped up after her. Zhao sighed and told her not to kill me. In his mind, I was a lovesick fool trying to prove himself to his childhood crush one last time. He thought the skill scroll was just an excuse. Everyone in the arena thought the same thing. A Qingcheng High student explained our whole history to the crowd. How we grew up together, how she dumped me after awakening her legendary class. His conclusion, I was a hopeless romantic trying to win back my first love. The audience split into 2 camps. Half felt sorry for me, calling me brave, a warrior of pure love, saying at least I had the courage to try. They said if my god-level class had been combat instead of pig butcher, we'd have been a perfect couple. The other half tore me apart. They called me a stalker, a scheming gold digger who only chased Ling Xian because she became legendary level. They demanded I be arrested for harassment. Someone yelled about female safety. Meanwhile, the Xia family butler was clutching his head in the stands, convinced Nan Nan had thrown her match because she was in love with me. Through all of this, nobody, not a single person, considered the possibility that I simply wanted to win because winning was better than losing. That I genuinely just wanted that skill scroll. Ling Xian looked at me with disgust. In her eyes, everything I did was just pathetic attention-seeking. I didn't bother correcting anyone. Let them think whatever they want. I had a fight to win. The crowd was arguing about whether I was a romantic hero or a creepy stalker. Ling Xian looked at me with disgust and said coming up here would only make her hate me more. Can you stop talking and just fight? I said. She shook her head. I won't even draw my sword. Survive 1 minute against me, and I'll forfeit. Deal? I was thrilled. I didn't want to show too much of my abilities in public anyway. She started laying out her conditions. If I lost, I had to promise never to bother her again. But before she finished the word, bother, I hit her with Blood Shadow Butcher. The fear froze her solid. I wound up my arm and slapped her across the face with a full 360-degree spin. Screw you. She spun like a top, her white skirt twirling elegantly around her. The entire arena went completely silent. Every single person shut their mouths at the same time. Wait, wasn't this guy supposed to be the pure love warrior, trying to win back his sweetheart? And he just slapped her? Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. The people who'd been arguing about romance versus harassment both went quiet, equally confused. The Tianxiong teacher's face darkened. That slap wasn't just on Ling Xian's face. It was on their academy's reputation. Ling Xian held her swollen cheek, staring at me in complete shock. You dared hit me? I checked the clock below the stage. Great news. 1 minute is up. I reminded her cheerfully that according to her own rules, I'd survived 1 minute, so she should forfeit now. She stood there in silence. Her untouchable ice goddess image was completely shattered, half her face swollen, looking more like an angry lunatic than a fairy. I underestimated you, she said through gritted teeth. Now I'm treating you as a real opponent. She drew her mystic rank frost-lingering sword. Hey, you said you'd forfeit. You're breaking your promise. Liars have to swallow 1,000 needles, I protested. I'll forfeit after I beat you into the ground. Her sword came at my throat with snowflakes swirling around it. I dodged with phantom shadow, leaving afterimages everywhere. She slashed through illusions while I circled to her side and launched a stone-shattering fist. She countered with Snow Dance Frost. The snowflakes came alive and turned into razor-sharp blades. One nicked my cheek, drawing blood. Those innocent-looking snowflakes were sharper than steel. My fist shattered some, but more kept coming. I had to keep dodging. The audience was stunned. A pig butcher going toe-to-toe with a legendary fighter who'd one-shot an epic-level swordsman. All you can do is run around like a mouse? She taunted. I stopped. Fine. Bare fists won't cut it against a legendary class. Time to bring out my big treasure. I reached into my pants. What are you reaching for? Ling Xian's face changed. The examiner panicked too, shouting at me to stay calm. Too late, I've got it. Come out, my precious. Under everyone's terrified gaze, I slowly pulled out a gleaming butcher knife. Everyone stared at my butcher knife and the pink heart emblem on the blade. The examiner who'd been rushing over with a blanket to cover me froze mid-step. The whole crowd went silent, then confused. Who hides a knife in their pants? And what's that seductive symbol doing on a butcher knife? I couldn't hide my strength anymore. Without the knife, I couldn't beat Ling Xian. Her legendary class skills were too versatile. Don't worry. This time I won't run. I charged straight at her. She shivered. Something deep inside her screamed that she was facing a natural predator. She launched a barrage of sword strikes, frost, and snow everywhere. I swept my knife through them all, shattering every blade of light, then brought it down on her head. She blocked. The impact sent sparks flying and pushed her back several meters. Her sword hand was trembling. She couldn't believe my raw power. Before she recovered, I was in her face again with a throat slash. No mercy. She barely ducked. My blade shaved off a chunk of her hair. Now I was the one chasing her around the platform. The roles had completely reversed. The audience couldn't believe it. People started questioning whether I was really the pure love warrior they'd imagined. My strikes were clearly aimed to kill. Ling Xian was humiliated. She'd never been pushed around like this since becoming legendary class. She snapped and tried to stab me through the heart, willing to trade her life for mine. Psycho, I muttered. I dodged easily. I had no interest in a mutual kill at a school tournament. She caught her breath and made a decision. She activated her strongest technique, Sword Song. Bodhi Frost Moon. Sword energy carved deep grooves into the stone platform. The temperature plummeted. Ice formed everywhere. Even her Tianxiong teacher stood up screaming at her to stop. The technique was too much for her body to handle. I have to win, Ling Xian shouted back. Her attack came like a frozen tsunami. I activated Perfect Mastery Phantom Shadow, filling the arena with over a dozen copies of me. She locked onto what she thought was the real one and drove her sword through it. It passed right through. That, real me, was my illusory strike decoy. Cloud-splitting slash. I swung my 9th consecutive strike. The succubus emblem on my blade lit up, flooding the arena with seductive illusion magic. Ling Xian's eyes glazed over, her face flushing red as the vision hit her. For a split second, she was completely defenseless. My knife knocked her sword out of her hand. The blade was heading for her neck, but at the last instant, I flipped it and smacked her across the face with the flat side, launching her off the platform. I wasn't stupid enough to kill someone in front of thousands of witnesses with a Tianxiong Academy teacher watching my every move. The teacher would have obliterated me on the spot. Silence swallowed the arena. Not a whisper. Not a breath. A pig butcher just defeated a legendary-level combat prodigy. The examiner announced my victory. The whole arena went crazy. A pig butcher had just crushed a legendary-level combat prodigy, and not just beaten her, but dominated her without taking a single real hit. They retested my job class on the spot, thinking there must have been a mistake. The result was the same, God-level life skill pig butcher. The Zhimu teacher Qin Yin and the Taichu teacher Zhuxiran were both torn. I was clearly talented, but recruiting a life skill class would bring enormous pressure from their schools. Then the Tianxiong teacher Lu Jingya shut it down. She said I'd made an enemy of Tianxiong Academy. Today's defeat would become a thorn in Ling Xian's heart, one she'd need to remove by killing me someday. Neither academy wanted to make an enemy of Tianxiong over a pig butcher. Lu Jingya stepped through the air to reach Ling Xian, a technique only king-level fighters could use. The audience gasped. She was a king-level expert. Ling Xian sat on the ground like a broken doll, unable to accept that she'd lost to me. Lu Jingya comforted her, saying within 3 months at Tianqiong Academy, she'd surpassed me completely since I'm just a life skill class with a ceiling. Then she pointed to Lin Yu, the handsome guy standing behind Ling Xian. He released his aura, 7th rank master. After only 1 year at Tianqiong, the crowd was terrified. If a 1-year student was already that strong, what about graduates? Lin Yu cracked his knuckles and walked toward me, saying he'd teach me a lesson for his junior sister. I assessed my chances, maybe 30% of killing him in a real fight, and 0 chance with a king-level teacher watching. Just as things were about to get ugly, a familiar voice broke through. A top academy letting a senior student bully a freshman? That seems beneath you. Zhang Shiyan walked out in a white dress with her zither, freshly broken through to master level. Behind her stood several 9 Heavens Alliance masters, including Uncle Qian, who winked at me. Lin Yu sneered and offered to fight all of them at once. But Lu Jingya recognized Shiyan and immediately changed her tone. Whatever Shiyan's real identity was, it carried weight. Even a Tianqiong teacher backed down. Since Miss Jiang is involved, we'll leave it here, Lu Jingya said with a forced smile. She pulled Ling Xian away, giving her a final pep talk. She said Lin Yu reached 7th rank master in 1 year with only epic level talent. With Ling Xian's legendary talent, she'd hit at least 9th rank master or even grandmaster within a year. Would a tiger feel ashamed for losing to a house dog as a cub? Once the tiger grows up, it rules the mountain. And the dog? It stays a dog, guarding the gate forever. Ling Xian picked up her sword and told me she'd come back in 1 year to fight me again, saying she'd prove her choice was right. I shrugged. She wasn't my opponent now. In a year, the gap would only be wider. As the Tianqiong people left, Lin Yu brushed past me and whispered that I was lucky to be hiding behind a woman, and he could kill me in 1 move. I just said, maybe, and let it go. I thanked Shiyan for stepping in. She waved it off. I was part of the 9 Heavens Alliance now, so protecting me was natural. I didn't say much, but I remembered the favor. Debts get repaid, both kindness and grudges. I collected my first place prize, a rare level skill scroll. This was exactly why I'd fought Ling Xian instead of forfeiting. 1 rare level scroll is worth 10 high level ones. Then I went to Zhao for my promised storage weapon. He sighed about me making enemies with Tianqiong Academy and handed me an ancient-looking bracelet called the Flowing Light Realm Band, a top yellow rank spirit weapon. Inside was a pocket dimension about half a basketball court in size. Not huge, but perfect for my needs. Take it and go, he said, waving me away like I was cursed. Back at the Alliance, I used the skill scroll. Wind Walk without trace, a rare level movement skill. At basic mastery, it boosts agility by 50% for 5 minutes. When moving with the wind, it doubles to 100% for 10 minutes. Compared to this, Phantom Shadow was garbage. I loaded up the storage bracelet with supplies, water, canned food, vegetables, healing pills, nearly filling it. With these supplies, even if the Thunder Lion Alliance chased me into the deep wilderness, I could survive for weeks. I took a 2-star mission from the Alliance board. Hunt a giant armored crocodile lion and bring back the whole body. The reward was 900 contribution points. The mission recommended 8th rank entry level or a team of 5 above 5th rank. But my butchering skills and armor-piercing talent made armored beasts my specialty. The 9 Heavens Alliance had been helping me. It was time I gave something back. I headed out of the city. After being cooped up for so long, I was desperate to kill some pigs. What I didn't know was that the moment I stepped outside the gates, Lei Gang got the message. He was done waiting. He's finally out? Alone? Good. He's never coming back. My 3rd time leaving the city, I knew exactly what I was doing. I checked the map and headed for the Vortex Green River. Giant armored crocodile lions love water, so that was my best bet. On the way, I ran into a mutant giant goblin. Nearly 3 meters tall, solid muscle, about as strong as a 5th rank entry-level fighter. I tested out my new skill, Wind Walk without trace. My speed exploded. I was in front of the goblin before it could even swing its bone club. 1 clean throat cut. Done. I kept killing everything in my path the whole way to the river. The system notifications kept coming. 5%, 6%, 8% progress each time. I hit 3rd rank entry and was speeding toward 4th. With my Pig Bane bonus now insanely high and all the skills I'd polished at the Alliance, Nothing at entry level could challenge me anymore. With the storage bracelet, nothing went to waste either. Every beast's materials went straight into my pocket dimension. By the time I reached the river, the area was dead quiet. No beasts at all. That meant I was in something powerful's territory, probably the crocodile lion itself. A threatening roar confirmed it. I activated Wind Walk and chased the sound. There it was, a lion-shaped beast covered in heavy scale armor instead of fur, with a tail like an iron whip. Half its body sat in the water, glaring at me with bloodthirsty eyes. The mission required bringing back a complete body, so I needed a clean one-hit kill. This thing was equivalent to 8th or 9th rank entry. Tough armor, strong bite, but slow. Speed was its weakness. Speed was my specialty. I toggled between Wind Walk and Phantom Shadow, running circles around it until it was exhausted and furious. It couldn't land a single hit on me. I taunted it. "Come on, big guy." Tired already, it snapped and swung its tail at me. I punched it back with stone-shattering fist. Then it opened its jaws wide, charging up a devastating energy blast, its trump card. That's exactly what I wanted. Blood Shadow Butcher. The fear froze it. The energy in its mouth fizzled out. I charged in with my Dragon Slayer, combining Cloud-Splitting Slash, Soul-Slaying Blade, Intense Armor Pierce, and my massive Pig Bane bonus. One strike straight into its unarmored mouth. Instant kill. Done. I was about to store the body in my bracelet when I heard a human voice nearby. "Hey bro, look. There's a dead adult crocodile lion over here." A hunting team of 5 showed up, 3 women, 2 men. 2 of them were master level, the rest were high entry level. A long-haired girl named Yu Xiaowan spotted the crocodile lion's body and was shocked. Their leader, Wang Yuan, greeted me cautiously. When I stored the beast's body into my bracelet, his eyes narrowed. A storage weapon meant I had serious backing. He explained. They'd found a secret realm entrance nearby, but a golden-eye water lion, equivalent to a 5th rank master, was guarding the territory. He wanted to team up, kill the beast together, then everyone fends for themselves inside the realm. Secret realms are unpredictable spaces, sometimes left behind by dead powerhouses, sometimes formed naturally. Nobody knows what's inside until you enter. A freshly discovered one is a huge opportunity. I agreed immediately, but Wang Yuan didn't believe I was alone. He figured someone stronger must have killed the crocodile lion for me. After all, I was only around 4th rank entry level in his eyes. So I showed him. I charged up stone-shattering fist and punched him. Even as a master, my Pig Bane bonus sent him flying backward dozens of steps, his arms shaking. "Convinced now?" I asked. "Yes," he said quickly. Another guy named Tung Ingi doubted me too. Wang Yuan coughed and told him to try for himself. Tung rushed at me. I punched him back before he could finish his sentence. He got very quiet after that. Wang Yuan explained that one of their masters, Yu Xiaowan, was actually a support class called Lucky Star Blesser. No combat ability, but she could boost everyone else's fighting power dramatically. With her buffs, entry-level fighters could match masters, and Wang Yuan himself could punch up to 4th rank master level. 20 minutes later, we slowed down near the golden-eye water lion's territory. Wang Yuan warned everyone to be careful. The beast was extremely powerful. I pulled my Dragon Slayer from my bracelet. The moment it appeared, its killing aura made everyone shiver. Yu Xiaowan stared at it. "Your weapon looks a lot like a butcher knife." I raised an eyebrow. "In the slaughterhouse, you can call it a butcher knife. Out here, you call it Dragon Slayer." The team looked at my Dragon Slayer with awkward expressions. It was clearly a butcher knife, badass name or not. But they'd seen my power firsthand, so they went along with it. What none of us noticed was that someone was watching us from the shadows. Wang Yuan spotted the golden-eye water lion, a massive deep blue beast nearly 5 meters tall with golden glowing eyes. 5th rank master level. He gave everyone their roles. Tung Yingyi would distract it with speed, Jin Pan would block its vision with wind attacks, Ho Xia would guard Yu Xiaowan, and I was on damage duty. Then Xiaowan cast her buff, Resonant Spirit Light. The moment it hit me, my stats exploded. All 3 attributes jumped from 135 to 217.5, a 50% boost across the board. She was basically a walking power amplifier. At this level, I could have beaten Ling Xian with my bare hands without even trying. The fight started. Tung Yingyi rushed in to draw attention. Jin Pan used wind to block the lion's paw strike. Wang Yuan stabbed it with his silver spear, opening a bleeding wound. The beast got angry and locked its golden eyes onto Tang Yingyi. Those eyes were its deadliest weapon. They could fire energy beams that melt solid rock. "It's targeting me," Teng screamed. That was my opening. I activated Wind Walk and blew past Teng so fast he couldn't believe it. He was supposed to be the speed specialist, and I'd just left him in the dust. I leaped straight at the beast's face. Wang Yuan yelled at me to fall back. The golden beam would incinerate me. The lion fired. 2 golden beams shot straight through my body. Everyone gasped, but the beams had passed through a phantom. I'd used illusory strike. The real me was right behind the decoy. I swung my Dragon's Lair with cloud-splitting slash and sliced both of the lion's golden eyes in a single cut. Blood tears poured from its ruined sockets. The beast went berserk, but blind. Its most feared weapon was gone. Wind Walk to close the gap, illusory strike to bait out the beam attack, cloud-splitting slash to blind it. 3 moves, seamless, no wasted motion. Wang Yuan's team stared at me in total shock. They finally believed I'd killed the crocodile lion alone. My rank said 4th rank entry level, but my actual combat power would embarrass most masters. "Stop staring. Kill it while it's wounded." Wang Yuan snapped everyone out of their shock. The team piled on attacks. Tang Yingyi carved a deep gash across its body. Jian Pan launched wind blades. Wang Yuan thrust his silver spear straight through the beast, punching a hole clean through it. Blood gushed everywhere. But the lion wasn't done. It released a blue vortex from its mouth, a water-controlling ability that pulled at our blood, trying to suck it right out of our bodies. Wang Yuan yelled at everyone to back off and wait for it to bleed out. But waiting isn't my style. I'm a pig butcher. I go to the pig, not the other way around. Blood Shadow Butcher. The fear hit. The vortex collapsed. I activated Wind Walk, shot underneath the beast's neck like a gust of wind, and slashed upward. 1 cut. Throat slit. The massive body crashed to the ground. That kill gave me 150% experience and pushed me to 5th rank entry. Wang Yuan noticed my aura had changed and assumed I'd been hiding my real level the whole time. I let him believe that. Couldn't exactly tell him I'd just leveled up from killing the beast. Normal people don't work that way. They led me to a cliff face where a narrow space crack, only a few centimeters wide, flickered with energy. Through the gap, I could see glimpses of another world. Cold air seeped through. I thought I saw dried-up corpses floating past on the other side. A bad feeling crept over me. Wang Yuan explained they'd found this crack days ago, and it was slowly growing. In another day or 2, it would be wide enough for people to enter. He suggested we split up once inside and wish each other luck. I agreed. We barely knew each other, and fighting over treasure would only lead to trouble. Then everything changed. A massive white pillar of light shot into the sky, scattering the clouds. Moments later, black energy swallowed the light, and day turned to night in an instant. Wang Yuan's face went pale. An event this dramatic would attract every powerful being in the region, human and non-human alike. But he was also excited. Something this spectacular meant the realm probably contained something extraordinary. He turned to me quickly. "Chuan, I take back what I said about splitting up. Want to keep working together?" Wang Yuan suggested we stick together inside the realm and split any loot based on contribution. I agreed. Xiaozhuan's stat buff was too valuable to give up, and these guys were experienced wilderness veterans. Their survival skills would be useful in an unknown place. We slipped through the space crack just before others could arrive. Wang Yuan warned us not to touch the edges. They could slice through anything, even spirit weapons. What none of us knew was that Lei Gang and his Thunder Lion people had been tailing me the whole time. He'd originally planned to kill me in the wilderness, but held back when he saw me with Wang Yuan's group. Now he'd stumbled onto our secret realm discovery. He sent a signal to the Thunder Lion Alliance for reinforcements, planning to let us do the hard work and then steal everything. Inside the realm, everything was dead. Brown earth, black fog, ruined buildings in the distance. No life anywhere. Wang Yuan told everyone to stay alert and retreat at the first sign of real danger. We moved in formation, Tang Yingyi scouting ahead, Wang Yuan and Jian Pan covering, and me guarding Xiaoan with Ho Xia on either side since she had the weakest defenses. Then Xiaoan felt something bump her from behind. She glared at me and called me a pervert. I had no idea what she was talking about. It happened again. Once, twice, 3 times. She was furious. But when she finally turned around, it wasn't my hand. It was a floating dried corpse, skin stretched over bones, face twisted in agony. She screamed and jumped onto me like a koala. The corpse drifted past us. Wang Yuan examined it and said it wasn't human. It had wings growing from its spine. It was from the celestial race. In the hierarchy of all races, celestials looked just like humans except for their wings. 2 wings meant the lowest bloodline purity. More corpses appeared, then dozens, then hundreds, drifting in from every direction like a silent flood. None of them attacked us, but watching an endless tide of dried bodies float past was deeply unsettling. We tried to avoid them, but they seemed to follow us like they had built-in navigation. Chuan, still clinging to me, said something that made everyone's blood run cold. I think. These corpses are alive. Xiaozhuan's words gave everyone chills. Jian Pan covered her mouth and told her to stop saying creepy things. I wasn't going to stand around being spooked. I walked up to the nearest floating corpse with my butcher knife and got to work. I separated the limbs at the joints, gutted it, removed the head, then figured out how to detach the wings. First time butchering a pig with wings, but a winged pig is still a pig. When I finished, the dismantled corpse stopped floating. Then something strange happened. All the other floating corpses paused, as if they'd received a signal, and drifted away in every direction until they were gone. Did the corpses just get scared off? Wang Yuan's scalp was tingling. Everyone looked at me with the same expression they'd give a horror movie villain. My calm dissection apparently freaked them out as much as the corpses did. We pushed deeper into the realm toward a cluster of ancient ruined buildings. Clearly not human architecture. Carved feather patterns covered broken tiles everywhere. This had been a magnificent celestial civilization once. At the center stood a glowing white ancient palace, the only structure still intact. Everything else was rubble, but this palace radiated holy light like it was untouched by time. The white beam from earlier must have come from here. Wang Yuan said the real treasure had to be inside. Meanwhile, outside the realm, the space crack had grown wide enough for groups to enter. The Thunderlion Alliance arrived first. Lei Gang had tipped them off. Then the Nine Heavens Alliance, the Xia family, the Shang family. Even non-human races showed up. Giant armored goblins led by a goblin priest covered in mystic runes, and massive bull-horned warriors from the Savage Bull tribe. The human factions silently agreed. If treasure appeared, they'd eliminate the other races first, then fight among themselves. We reached the palace, but a barrier of white light blocked entry. Wang Yuan tried to push through and got thrown backward. The light was ancient but weakening. Let's attack together and tear an opening, he said. Xiaowan buffed all 5 of us. We struck the barrier simultaneously. The white light flared brilliantly, and countless white feathers drifted down from the sky like snow. Then the entire palace rose into the air, shining like a sun. Everyone in the realm saw it. Every faction, every race. They all charged toward the floating palace without hesitation. They were all certain. Inside that palace was a supreme treasure. The palace dropped back to the ground, and its protective light vanished. Wang Yuan cursed. Our head start was basically gone now that everyone could see it. We rushed inside. The palace was made entirely of bronze, and the moment I stepped in, I felt something watching me. 8 dark corridors stretched out ahead. Wang Yuan picked the first one without hesitation, no time to debate. The corridor was lined with bronze rooms built into the walls. We split up. I paired with Jian Pan on the right side, Wang Yuan with Tang Yingyi on the left. Most rooms were empty or full of rotted junk. Then I sliced open a door and 5-colored light poured out. Inside was a small pool just big enough for one person, its water shimmering in rainbow colors. A 5-color source pool, Wang Yuan gasped. 4 combat classes. Soaking in this could boost your level by 2 or 3 ranks. Incredible treasure. I stuck my hand in. Nothing happened. No tingling, no absorption, no reaction at all. Just like I expected, these cultivation treasures don't work on life skill classes. I can only get stronger by killing pigs. No shortcuts. You guys take it. I don't want it, I said. Everyone stared at me like I was insane. But I meant it. There had to be better things deeper inside. Things that would actually help me. Wang Yuan promised I'd get first pick of anything else we found, then stripped down and climbed in. The pool instantly erupted, rainbow energy flooding into his body, his aura climbing rapidly. That's when a bolt of lightning exploded toward him. Lei Gang. He'd been hiding in the shadows the whole time, and the sight of a five-color source pool was too much for him to resist. Wang Yuan was completely vulnerable mid-absorption. Jin Pan tried to block with her wind, but it barely slowed the lightning. I activated Wind Walk, flew in, and split the lightning net in half with cloud-splitting slash. The residual electricity still numbed my body. Yi Chuan, you dare show yourself. Lei Gang's body crackled with blue-white lightning. Shaoan, buff me, I shouted. Her golden light hit me instantly. With her 50% boost on top of my already massive stats, I was confident I could fight Lei Gang head-on now. He hurled lightning at me. With Wind Walk and Xiaozhuan's buff combined, my speed was absurd. Every bolt missed, passing just inches from my body. How is a 5th-rank entry level this fast? He shouted in disbelief. Then he figured it out. His eyes locked onto Xiaowan. Kill that woman. Now, he ordered his men coldly. Lei Gang ordered his men to kill Xiaowan. He'd figured out she was the source of our power boost. Teng Yingyi and the others jumped in to protect her, while Ho Xia carried her on her back. They were outnumbered and struggling. Wang Yuan was stuck in the pool, desperately absorbing energy as fast as he could. I charged straight at Lei Gang. He fired lightning at me. I used Illusory Strike. His attack passed through my phantom. But he wasn't fooled twice. He unleashed Thunder Fury, lightning spreading in every direction like a spider web. No dodging that. It hit me, and my whole body went numb, even with Pig Bane having the damage. We clashed back and forth, lightning sparking with every collision. I'd built up 8 slashes, one more and my enchantment would trigger. But against a veteran like Lei Gang, I needed to set up the perfect kill shot. He was watching for my Blood Shadow Butcher. Last time, that move had cost him dearly. So I switched tactics. I gripped my knife in my left hand and threw a stone-shattering fist with my right. With Xiaozhuan's buff pushing my strength past 200, the punch launched him backward. Before he could recover, I hit him with Blood Shadow Butcher. He was ready for it this time. He released lightning whips in every direction to keep me away during the fierce state. I didn't care. I slashed through the lightning and landed my 9th cut, then immediately the 10th. The moment he broke free from fear, the enchantment's seduction illusion grabbed him. He saw beautiful women surrounding him. He knew it was fake, knew he had to snap out of it. He tried to bite his tongue, but the illusion hit him with a sensation so overwhelming that his eyes went wide and his mind went blank. I cut his throat. He died in the fantasy, never waking up. Blood Shadow Butcher plus the enchantment's charm, double mind control. No one survives that combo. That kill shot me up to 7th rank entry. Then I walked toward the remaining Thunder Line members. 1 slash each. With my Pigbane multiplier, entry-level fighters were nothing. I killed every single one without blinking. Shaoan and the others watched me slaughter a dozen people as casually as eating breakfast. They looked disturbed. I looted everything. 11 spirit weapons total, 8 low-grade yellow rank, and the rest better. But the real prize was a silver ring from Lei Gang's body shaped like a roaring lion. It adds lightning to any attack. I'd felt firsthand how nasty lightning was. The numbing, the slowness. Now I could do that to others. I put on the ring and swung my Dragon Slayer. The blade flashed with cold steel, followed by a crackling bolt of lightning. Nice. A pig butcher who loves killing pigs will always have good luck. With the Silver Lion ring adding lightning to my attacks, my combat power jumped another level. Wang Yuan climbed out of the pool. He'd gone from 2nd rank master to the peak of 3rd rank. When I told him the dead men were Thunder Lion Alliance members hunting me, he didn't flinch. He immediately helped me destroy the evidence. I appreciated that. He could have easily cut ties with me. We cleaned everything up and kept exploring the corridor. Most bronze rooms were empty or rotted. Then Wang Yuan found one with a seal on the door. Sealed rooms mean good stuff. He broke through it with his spear. Inside were over 100 floating crystals, demon crystals, glowing with strange light. Wang Yuan's eyes went red with excitement. These things are incredibly valuable for enchanting weapons, refining pills, or boosting combat power directly. I grabbed 30 of them before anyone else and stored them in my bracelet. Then a creepy voice came from the doorway. 3 goblins had appeared, 2 massive warriors with battle axes, and a small hunched one covered in mystic runes. A goblin priest. The priest smiled and said he wanted half our crystals and one of our women. I exchanged a look with Wang Yuan. Same thought. Attack. Shaoan buffed everyone. I hit the priest with Blood Shadow Butcher to freeze him, then slashed at one warrior goblin. My lightning ring shocked him into paralysis. I kicked him aside to clear the exit. Wang Yuan speared the other one away. We all rushed past the goblins and sprinted deeper into the palace. By the time the priest recovered, we were long gone. He swore revenge, but we didn't care. If we'd had time, we would have killed all three. We stopped checking every room and only opened sealed ones. Half an hour later, we emerged from the corridor into an enormous central hall. People from other corridors were already there, all working together to break through a glowing barrier. Behind that barrier sat a head-sized chunk of gray-black or radiating freezing cold energy. That's nether cold iron. When I saw that chunk of nether cold iron, my heart raced. If I could fuse it into my Dragon's Lair, the knife would jump from yellow rank to mystic rank. I had to have it. Wang Yuan saw my excitement and offered to help. He'd break the barrier while I saved my strength for the grab. His way of repaying me for the 5-color source pool. He hammered the light barrier with his spear while everyone around us quietly gathered their energy, waiting to pounce. When the barrier finally shattered, dozens of fighters lunged for the ore. I was faster. Wind Walk carried me there first, and I snatched it into my storage bracelet. Kill him, they screamed. Attacks rained down like a storm, but they all passed through my illusory strike phantom. Then Xiaozhuan's buff hit me, and I drew my Dragon's Lair. I killed the nearest 9th rank entry-level fighter with one throat slash. Before anyone recovered from the shock, I activated Wind Walk and cut down 3 more in a flash, lightning from my ring crackling through each strike. A 1st-rank master attacked me with scorching flames that warped the air. I answered with cloud-splitting slash. My blade split his fire in half and kept going straight through his neck. That kill pushed me to 8th rank entry. I licked my lips. Killing pigs really is the fastest way to level up. After that, nobody dared come near me. They'd watched me kill a master with one stroke without changing my expression. Not a killer, a butcher. A human butcher. I was honestly disappointed they stopped attacking. More pigs would have been nice. The hall's treasures were picked clean, but a massive sealed bronze door remained at the center. Everyone knew something even more valuable was behind it, but the seal was too strong for anyone here to break. Then a powerful man strode in, tall, muscular, dressed in black. The crowd parted for him like water. Xia Beihai, Nanan's father. Head of the Xia family, 9th rank master at the peak. I checked him out. I only judge people by build since every head looks like a pig to me anyway. Right behind him came a bald man in a windbreaker laughing loudly. Shang Guhao, head of the Shang family. Also peak 9th rank master. He and Xia Beihai were rivals, bickering over some herb one of them had grabbed first. Then a woman carrying a zither walked in, followed by an elegant middle-aged lady. I recognized the first one immediately, Jiang Shiyan. Jiang Shiyan walked in carrying her zither, followed by a stunning middle-aged woman in a black lace dress, Qi Chunyu, the actual leader of the 9 Heavens Alliance. When Shiyan spotted me, she was surprised. Qi Chunyu looked me over, squeezed my arm to check my muscles, and said I had good potential. I stepped back awkwardly. Being groped by a pig head was not on my to-do list. The bald Shang family head, Shang Guhao, started flirting with Qi Chunyu shamelessly. She played along, jokingly offering to sleep with him if he brought his entire family into the alliance. He backed off fast. He knew she was dangerous. Then the Thunder Lion Alliance arrived. Their leader, Lei Yongqin, looked furious. He couldn't reach Lei Gang and had found nothing in the first corridor because we'd already cleaned it out. He screamed my name and demanded I come forward. Wang Yuan and his team tensed up. I signaled them to stay out of it. They made their living near Qingqing and couldn't afford to make enemies of the Thunder Lion Alliance. I'm Chuan, I said, stepping forward. Lei Yongqin attacked immediately, a massive lightning blade aimed at my head. But Qi Chunyu casually swatted it away with one soft hand, shattering the lightning into sparks. He's one of mine, she said with a smile. Since when do you get to touch my people? Lei Yongqin accused me of killing his men. Qi Chunyu asked me directly if I'd done it. No, I said with perfect clarity and zero hesitation. See? He says no, she shrugged. Lei Yongqin was livid but couldn't start a fight here without everyone else benefiting. He backed down, swearing he'd kill me eventually. Xia Beihai played peacemaker, suggesting everyone cooperate to open the sealed bronze door. Shang Guhao called out the non-human races hiding in the corners, the goblin priest, a savage bull warrior, and a male succubus with horns and pointed ears. I recognized the succubus race immediately from my near-death experience with Malitas. They all agreed. Open the door together, then fight for whatever's inside. Shiyan waved me over. Stay with us. When the door opens, we go in first. I joined her without hesitation. I'd already scored the silver lightning ring, 30 demon crystals, and the nether cold iron today. But who says no to more? I was curious what was behind that bronze door. The 7 strongest fighters, Xia Beihai, Shang Guhao, Qi Chunyu, Lei Yongqin, plus the goblin priest, the bull warrior, and the male succubus, all attacked the bronze door together. The barrier held for an impressively long time before it finally cracked and exploded. Behind the door was a pitch-black hall. In the darkness, everyone could vaguely see a grand throne at the center and what looked like a figure sitting on it. Rush in, people screamed, shoving forward. Shiyan grabbed my arm to run in with the first wave, but I stopped her. My butcher's instinct was screaming at me. Something inside that hall was terrifyingly powerful. Something was coming out, not waiting for us to come in. A second later, transparent black shadows burst from both sides of the throne and flooded toward us. One master-level fighter tried to attack a shadow with his weapon. It passed right through, then the shadow dove into his body. He screamed as his flesh shriveled before our eyes, turning into a dried husk in seconds. Those floating celestial corpses we'd seen earlier, this was what made them. Retreat, Xia Beihai and the other top fighters bolted. They were fast enough to escape immediately. The weaker fighters who'd rushed to the front weren't so lucky. Anyone the shadows touched became a dried corpse. I sprinted with everything I had, but 2 shadows locked onto me and kept gaining. I turned and slashed at them. My blade passed right through. Physical attacks were completely useless. Both shadows dove into my body. I felt them take root inside me and start feeding on my flesh. My body was already getting thinner. Shiyan tried to help me, but Qi Chunyu dragged her away. He's done. Even I'd die if those things got inside me. We have to leave. Everyone who saw me assumed I was dead. But as my body shrank, I noticed something. Every shadow in the hall avoided the throne. They were afraid of it. It was my only chance. Instead of running away, I ran deeper into the hall, straight toward the throne, against the tide of shadows. Yi Chuan, don't, Shiyan screamed. The bronze doors began closing behind me, sealing all the shadows, and me, inside. Everyone outside watched the doors shut and mentally wrote my obituary. Trapped in a sealed room with hundreds of those things? Certain death, but I was betting everything on that throne. If there was anything in this world that could stop these shadows, it was whatever they were afraid of. I slid under the throne just in time. Sitting on it was a majestic middle-aged man with 6 wings growing from his back, radiating sacred power. He looked alive, but his life force was gone. The instant I got close, the 2 shadows inside me panicked and fled my body on their own. They were terrified of this throne, or whatever was on it. I'd bet right. But now I was stuck. Hundreds of shadows surrounded the throne on all sides. I couldn't escape. My storage bracelet had food and water, but eventually I'd run out and either starve or get drained. I took a healing pill, recovered from the damage the shadows had done, and started examining the body. 6-winged celestials are near the absolute peak of their race. How did someone this powerful die here? I checked everywhere for wounds. Nothing. No injuries at all. And his body was still warm. Is he alive? I poked his head. No response. So I leaned close to his ear and whispered something extremely rude. His eyes snapped open. A crushing pressure slammed me flat to the ground. I couldn't move a muscle. He's really alive? But then I realized it wasn't quite like that. A faint white glow rose from his body and formed a translucent, ghostly figure, a projection of who he once was. A human? Only 8th rank entry level? How did someone this weak get in here? He looked confused. I mumbled something about luck. He sighed. I expected a celestial descendant to find this place first, not a human. But perhaps this is fate. He studied me closely. I felt completely transparent before him. 18 years old, 8th rank entry level. Acceptable, I suppose. Boy, would you like to make a deal? I stepped back cautiously, hand on my bracelet. What kind of deal? He smiled. Relax. I'm just a remnant soul. I'll disappear soon anyway. He told me the story. This place was the ancient homeland of the celestial race. The Black Shadows were called the demon nightmare race, born without physical bodies, existing only as souls that feed on living flesh. The Celestials fought a war against them and lost. Only one bloodline escaped. Everything here was abandoned. A black token flew from his body into my hand. It was smooth and warm, with 8 feather carvings on the sides and the characters 4, Celestial, in the center. This is the Celestial clan leader's token, he said with sadness in his eyes. I need you to deliver it to the surviving Celestial bloodline. I pointed at myself. Me? I'm 8th rank entry level. You want me to find the Celestials? That's like asking me to fight a final boss. Not now, obviously, he snapped. When you're strong enough, deliver the token, and the Celestials will reward you handsomely. I laughed bitterly. Sir, I can't even get out of this room. How am I supposed to deliver anything? I wouldn't give you the token if I planned to let you die here. He turned and touched his own body with one finger. Instantly, terrifying white flames erupted from his corpse, pure white fire, burning with overwhelming power. The 6-winged Celestial set his own body on fire, pure white flames. I was stunned. He was cremating himself? He noticed I had nether cold iron on me and told me to put it into the fire along with my butcher knife. I hesitated for a second, then did it. Someone of his status wouldn't bother scheming for my stuff. The white flames melted the nether cold iron into dark liquid metal, which slowly merged with my dragon slayer. When the fusion finished, a brand new knife flew out of the fire into my hands. It looked the same, still had the succubus emblem, but now it felt ice cold to the touch. The Celestial said that, with the nether cold iron fused in, the blade now carried a trace of underworld energy that could actually hurt the demon nightmare shadows. My knife had basically jumped to lower mystic rank. I tested it immediately. A nearby shadow lunged at me, and this time my blade actually bit into it instead of passing through. 3 more slashes, and the shadow shattered into pieces. The system confirmed it. I could kill these things now. I have one more gift, the Celestial said. His body had burned to ash, leaving only a single black feather on the throne. He told me to pick it up, then pressed a finger to my forehead. A massive flood of information crashed into my brain. 3 hours of intense processing before I could digest it all. It was a legendary level skill called Celestial Wing Transformation. Combined with that black feather, I could grow wings and fly. Not just hover, actual free flight through the sky. Only king-level fighters can walk on air, and only emperor-level fighters can fly freely. This skill would let me do it at entry level. The feather dissolved into my body as black energy, flowing toward my shoulder blades. My back itched unbearably, then erupted in searing pain, like something was tearing through my flesh from the inside. Endure it, the Celestial warned. The first wing emergence is critical. If you stop now, you lose everything. I bit down hard, growling through the pain. Light burst from my back, black and gold intertwined. When it faded, a pair of black-gold wings spread wide behind me, their edges glittering like starlight. One gentle flap, and I lifted off the ground. So this is what flying feels like. I looked at my wings, heart pounding with excitement. Then a thought crossed my mind, and I muttered to myself, "Thank God they're not chicken wings." The black-gold wings looked incredible on me, but after flying around the hall for just a minute, I was completely drained. The Celestial laughed. I should be grateful a mere entry-level fighter could fly at all. I retracted the wings. They disappeared into my back, leaving only a black feather tattoo. With one thought, I could summon them again. Even if a Grandmaster came after me, I could just fly away and they couldn't do a thing. I thanked the Celestial. He, 127th clan leader of the Celestial race. He reminded me about the token, then his ghost and the throne faded away together. I bowed to the empty spot where he'd sat. With my upgraded Dragon Slayer now carrying underworld cold energy, I systematically slaughtered every remaining shadow in the hall. The strategy was simple. Step away from the throne to bait 1 or 2 shadows, kill them, then retreat before the rest swarmed me. Repeat. Within an hour, the hall was empty. I'd reached 9th rank entry. I left through a different corridor hoping to find more loot, but everything had already been picked clean by others. Outside the palace, near the realm's exit, I spotted something that made me move fast. Wang Yuan's team was getting destroyed by those 3 goblins. The goblin priest had buffed his 2 warriors with a berserk state. No pain, massively increased strength and speed. Wang Yuan got his chest caved in by an axe hit and lost his weapon. Tung Yingyi and Jian Pan were beaten down too. Other groups passed by, but nobody helped. Nobody wanted to fight a 9th-rank master goblin priest over a no-name hunting party. The priest gloated. I told you, half the crystals and 1 woman. You refused. Now the crystals are all ours, the women are all ours, and the men all die. He ordered his warriors to behead the men and take the women back to breed. A warrior goblin grabbed Chuan and threw her over his shoulder. The other raised his axe over Wang Yuan's head. Wang Yuan closed his eyes, waiting for death. The pain never came. He opened his eyes and saw my butcher knife buried in the warrior goblin's neck. I arrived just in time, driving my butcher's knife into the warrior goblin's throat to finish it off. Wang Yuan and Yu Shaoan were shocked to see me alive. They'd watched me get swallowed by shadows behind the bronze gate and thought I was dead for sure. I told them I just got lucky. There was no time to chat. I still had to deal with the goblin priest. He noticed my power had jumped to entry hall realm, 9th stage, and got greedy, figuring I must have grabbed something valuable from behind the gate. I didn't bother answering. I just charged at him with my knife. Yu Shaoan boosted me with her resonance ability, and I went after the priest at full speed. He wasn't panicked though. He buffed his last warrior goblin, who swung a huge axe at my head. I blocked it, but the impact made my hands go numb. This thing was stronger than I expected. I tried circling behind the warrior goblin using my speed, but the priest hit me with a lightning bolt from his staff. It struck me right in the chest. The pain was brutal, and my flame scale armor shattered into pieces. That armor had been with me a long time, and now it was destroyed. I was furious. I rushed straight at the priest. He's terrible at close combat, so if I could get near him, I could finish him in a few strikes. But he was clever. He used wind magic to float away and kept his warrior goblin between us. Then he got really devious. Instead of aiming at me, he launched a fireball at Yu Shaoan. She had no one to protect her. I had to jump in front of her and slice the fireball in half with my knife. It singed my hair, but I saved her. The priest was grinning. He knew that as long as he targeted Yu Shaoan, I'd lose my speed advantage and become an easy target. But right when he tried to throw a 3rd fireball, I made my move. I unleashed all the killing intent I'd built up from slaughtering countless pigs, my blood shadow butcher ability. The priest froze in fear. This was my one and only chance, and I took it, gripping my knife and charging straight at him. The warrior goblin tried to rush me, but by then I'd already stacked up 9 strikes with my butcher's knife. I hit it with a charming blow that trapped it in some kind of illusion. The thing just stood there with a dopey grin on its face. I didn't waste time on it. I stepped on its head and launched myself straight at the goblin priest. I was counting in my head. My blood shadow butcher fear effect only lasts 2 seconds. When those 2 seconds were up, the priest snapped out of it. He was shocked that someone at my level could even stun him, but he didn't panic. He waved his staff, summoned wind, and floated up into the air, thinking he was safe up there where nobody could reach him. That's when I pulled out my secret weapon. Black and gold wings spread from my back, my feathered ascension wings. One flap, and I was right in his face. He couldn't believe a human had wings. I didn't bother explaining. I gripped my knife, swung once, and slit his throat. He fell from nearly 10 meters up and crashed to the ground, dead. After that, I went back and finished off the warrior goblin easily. Without the priest buffing it, the thing was no match for me. Wang Yuan and the others just stared at me like I was some kind of monster. When Wang Yuan asked what my class was, I told him the truth. I'm a butcher. Nobody believed me. They thought I was keeping secrets. But it really is the truth. I'm just a butcher who happens to treat every living thing as a pig to slaughter. I checked my stats and saw something great. I'd broken through to Master Realm, 1st stage. All 3 of my core stats doubled to 324. My fear ability now lasts 3 seconds, and my blade skill ignores 30% of a target's defense. Best of all, I unlocked a 3rd-class skill called Slaughter Frenzy. If I kill 10 enemies in a row, I get a 9% boost to all stats. Every 10 more kills adds another 9%, up to 90%. That's basically like jumping up an entire major realm. For fighting large groups, it's an incredible ability. Yu Shaoan asked why none of the 3 great academies had recruited me with talent like mine. I told her the truth, they just didn't pick me. All 5 of them shouted, "Impossible," at the same time. I just shrugged. Being an honest person is hard when nobody believes a word you say. After resting for 3 days until Wang Yuan and the others healed up, I said my goodbyes. Wang Yuan told me they all owed me their lives and would help me anytime I needed. I waved and took off using my speed skill. I heard Yu Shaoan ask if they'd ever see me again. I didn't stick around to hear the answer. I headed straight back to Green City. First stop was the trading center, where I sold all the beast materials I'd collected. Thanks to my storage bracelet, I'd gathered a huge haul, nearly 3 million in cash just for materials. I also had 30 magic crystals, but I didn't want to sell those. I needed to trade them for succubus crystals specifically, since upgrading my weapon's enchantment requires the same type of crystal used the first time. The trading center could only find me 8 succubus crystals. Apparently, most people don't kill succubi. They capture them alive instead and keep them as pets. I told the staff to post a task offering high prices for more succubus crystals. Then I bought information about the celestial race. The file cost 8,000 and explained that celestials look almost identical to humans except for wings on their backs. They may have been a branch of humanity long ago, though they deny it. After some ancient catastrophe nearly wiped them out, they went into hiding. They're now only spotted near the 9th Special District. The file burned itself up right after I finished reading it. What a ripoff. 8,000 for a one-time use document. But at least I got what I needed. The disaster that nearly destroyed the Celestials was probably the nightmare demon invasion that killed their leader, the 6-winged Celestial. Healy. The bad news is that the 9th district is incredibly far from the 5th district where I am now. There's no way I can make that journey with my current strength. But at the rate I'm growing, give me a few years and I'll be ready. After that, I went back to the 9 Heavens Alliance headquarters to turn in my armored crocodile lion mission and let everyone know I was still alive. When I walked in, something felt off. Everyone looked gloomy, like something terrible had happened. While turning in my mission, I overheard 2 guys talking. The Thunder Lion Alliance had ambushed one of our teams. The whole squad was wiped out except for 1 survivor. They left no evidence, so our leader had no way to confront them about it. And the survivor, Qian Ligong, was so badly injured he probably wouldn't make it through the day. My blood went cold. I grabbed those 2 guys and demanded to know what happened to Brother Qian. They told me he was upstairs in the medical ward. I rushed to the 9th floor. Jiang Shiyan and Qi Chunyu were both stunned to see me alive. They'd watched me get swallowed by those shadows and assumed I was dead. But I didn't have time for that conversation. I asked about Qian Ligong, and Jiang Shiyan's face fell immediately. I took a deep breath, braced myself, and quietly pushed open the door to his room. But even though I'd prepared myself for the worst, when I saw him lying there on that bed, my eyes still went wide with shock. When I saw Qian Ligong lying on that bed, my heart nearly broke. His whole body was burned black from lightning strikes. You couldn't even recognize his face anymore. Some of his skin had peeled off completely, showing the raw muscle underneath. The only reason I knew he was still alive was the machine next to him still showing a heartbeat. I thought after killing so many pigs, my heart had gone cold. But seeing Brother Qian like this made me burn with rage. After my parents left, he was one of the few people who actually cared about me. I quietly closed the door and asked Jiang Shiyan if he could recover. She said it was nearly impossible. The lightning had cooked his organs from the inside. The only thing that could save him was a 5th-grade revival pill, and it had to reach him within half a day. A pill like that is practically priceless. Only king-level pharmacists can make them, and nobody sells them. Jiang Shiyan told me the Xia family had one, but they'd already refused to help when our leader asked. I didn't say a word. I just turned and walked out the door. I was going to save Brother Qian no matter what. If the Xia family wouldn't give it to me, I'd take it by force. Jiang Shiyan tried to stop me and noticed I'd broken through to Master Realm. She was shocked. Last time she saw me, I was only entry hall first stage, and now I'd caught up to her level. But I didn't have time to explain. I went straight to the Xia family mansion in the center of the city. I stood at their front gate and shouted that I'd come to borrow their 5th-grade revival pill. The guards called me crazy and attacked me, all 4 of them. I didn't even bother dodging. Their hits landed on me but couldn't push me back a single step. Being Master Realm made their attacks feel like nothing. Then Xiao Beihai, the family head, came out. He recognized me as the guy who went behind the bronze gate. He offered a deal, show him what I got from behind the gate, and maybe he'd hand over the pill. But I couldn't give him anything. The six-winged celestial had fused the dark iron into my knife and taught me the wing technique. Neither of those could be handed over. I told him I had nothing to offer. He got angry and told me to get lost. So I sighed and got ready to fight him. With my stats and my 15 times damage bonus against pigs, I was confident I could beat him head-on. Just as we were about to clash, a girl came running out from behind him and threw herself into my arms. It was Xia Nan. She shoved a small box into my hands and told her father that I was the person who had saved her life outside the city before. Xiao Beihai's tone softened a bit when he heard that. He said he'd let today's rudeness slide because I'd saved his daughter. But he still refused to give me the pill, saying it was one of the most precious things the Xiao family owned. He told me not to make trouble and to leave. Xia Nan gave me a look, telling me to play along. So I bowed to Xiao Beihai, apologized for being rude, and left. Once I was far enough away, I opened the little box she'd slipped me. Inside was a round, glowing green pill that smelled incredible. Just sniffing it made my whole body feel more alive. It was the 5th grade revival pill. I waited there because I knew she'd come after me. Sure enough, she showed up and told me to hurry and go save my friend. I looked at her with real gratitude. It was the first time I'd ever felt genuinely fond of someone I'd normally just see as another pig. She told me it was only a loan. I had to pay it back with interest within 1 month before her dad noticed it was missing. I told her I'd pay it all back and that I owed her a personal favor on top of that. She said she trusted me because back when she was tied up in the goblin nest, I could have taken advantage of her, but I saved her instead. That told her I was a good person. I rushed back to the Nine Heavens Alliance and handed the pill to Jiang Shiyan. She couldn't believe I'd actually gotten one so fast. I told her to skip the questions and just save him. She called in all the healers, and they worked on Brother Qian for hours. I stayed right outside the whole time, not moving an inch. When the healers finally came out, they told me the good news and bad news. His life was saved, and he could live normally, but the damage was too severe. He'd have lasting problems and would probably never be able to fight again. I went in to see him. The pill had done amazing work. Most of his burns were healed and new baby soft skin had grown in. But he still looked weak. He put on a brave face, joking about wanting to go downstairs for a foot massage. He said he was tired of fighting anyway. I could see right through him. He was a master realm fighter, basically a big shot in Green City. Now he was going to be an ordinary person overnight. It was like being a rich kid one day and finding out your family went bankrupt the next. Nobody would be happy about that. His eyes got red, and he said he wasn't worth it, that even at full strength he could never repay a 5th grade revival pill. I told him I never expected anything in return when I decided to save him. He got serious and said his life belonged to me now. Whatever I needed, he'd do it without question. I nodded and said I had my first order for him. Get better, repay kindness, kill enemies. Simple as that. After leaving Brother Qian's room, I told Jiang Shiyan and Qi Chunyu I was tired and went to my room. I lay on my bed and fell asleep while a thunderstorm rolled over the city. I woke up in the early hours of the morning. The rain had gotten lighter and the moon was peeking through the clouds. I pulled some clothes from my storage bracelet, tore them into strips, and wrapped my entire body, head, neck, everything. I even wrapped my butcher's knife to my hand. I looked like a mummy. The point was simple: leave no evidence. I opened my window, crouched on the ledge, and spread my black gold wings. One powerful flap, and I vanished into the dark sky. I landed in an alley near the Thunder Lion Alliance headquarters. Their building was heavily guarded, patrols everywhere, groups of 4, rotating constantly. They knew the Nine Heavens Alliance might come for revenge, so they were ready. Getting through the front door without being noticed was impossible, so I flew to the roof instead. No guards up there. Nobody expects a flying enemy. I walked right in through the rooftop door and made my way down. The top floor was a living area with rooms lining a long hallway. The doors had magical barriers on them, so breaking in would set off alarms. Instead, I did something simple. I knocked. The first door was opened by a big muscular guy who'd been busy with a woman inside. He was furious about being interrupted. But before he could even finish cursing at me, my knife flashed across his throat. He dropped. I caught his body and set it down quietly, then went inside and finished off the woman too. No witnesses. I moved to the second door. Knocked. Same thing. Then the third. I went down that hallway like the Grim Reaper, knocking on door after door. Whoever opened up, died. After clearing 5 rooms, I felt my stats suddenly jump. My slaughter frenzy skill had kicked in. I'd killed enough targets in a row to trigger the first 9% boost to all my abilities. The killing spree was just getting started.